right, there we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is Sunday. Time to talk speedrunning with. Who are you?
I'm Nolan, or Nolan414, but Nolan works.
Perfect. And what is it you do?
Uh, I speedrun the three Punch Out games. So Punch Out Wii, Super Punch Out, and Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and I'm decent at them, I guess.
I think you're selling yourself a little short there, but okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't you have like every IL world record in like the latter two games?
Yeah, actually I do. Obviously not Mike Tyson's Punch Out because
That game is a little
yeah,
tough.
mercy with that game. Yeah, I got like a handful, but yeah, I do have every Super Punch Out world record for the individual levels and every Punch Out Wii record for the individual levels. For Super Punch Out, they're all tied with tasks. For Punch Out Wii, three of them are beatable.
Only three? Okay.
Yeah, only
Well, get
three.
to work,
Three,
I guess.
three of 27.
Yeah, all right. Um, I guess we can get into that more, but it is fascinating how like difficult it is, like how much RNG is in MTPO, and then you can actually like tie the task pretty easily, quote unquote, and all the other ones.
Yeah, I mean for Punch Out Wii, it is a little harder actually. Well, I mean harder like as in like the execution because Super Punch Out has like very little execution. Like the most amount is seven, but that's just one fight, and then there's five. For Punch Out Wii, there's only three fights have randomness,
Hmm.
but and by randomness, I'm talking like 50-50 or 25%. So it's not like that bad, but you have fights that have 29 frame perfect inputs to tie the tasks on, and then
Oh,
you also have 20, 24, 25. It's kind
okay,
of ugly.
I
I did
see.
tie the 29 one, but not some of the others.
So like MTPO has execution and like incredibly heavy RNG, and then that game
Really
has
heavy
just
RNG.
yeah, that game just mainly just has execution. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, mainly just the execution. I mean, it does have some fights that only have like three, five, or six, which I mean, I know that like may sound like a little bit, but it's it's nothing. Trust me. When you have fights like 11, there's like three that require 15, and then you get into the 20 range. So it can be ugly, but without
That's a
having
lot.
like the RNG aspect, it's not the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you just grind forever until you hit all of them. But that is a lot to
Yeah,
hit. Can't argue with that.
it really is actually. Yeah,
But yeah, we'll obviously deep dive into that later. But we got to
yeah.
start off with the obvious introduction, which is the how you got started.
So even though I started uploading speedrun videos in like 2020 because that was the boredom year for a lot of people, it kind of began in like 2019-ish when I was still in high school. I think I was sophomore or junior in my high school times, and I was in study hall. I was bored, so I was just watching YouTube videos to like just pass time, and then one after like another, I just kept getting recommended like so many like speedrun videos, specifically Mario ones. Gee, I wonder why,
Hmm.
because that game can be more popular than like it already is. But eventually, like I watched like a handful of them, and then one day I felt very nostalgic, so I was pulling out some of my Wii games, and I noticed, oh, Punch Out Wii. I remember having that game when I was 6 years old. You know what? I wonder what a speed run for that looks like. So one day I just watched it, watched a handful of them. The very first one that I watched actually was Mystery Man's full game world record. Actually, the one that's
Hmm.
like an hour long, I think. Which I mean, full games are like that. But for me, what was interesting is that whenever like I watch like a Mario speed run, specifically your game, um my head just goes sideways whenever I look at the flagpole glitches or the BBG, and like so many other crazy things happening. I'm just like, what is even like going on here? And then for Punch Out Wii, I was surprised that like how well, I don't want to say it was simple because there were like a lot of subtle mechanics going on behind the scenes, but I guess it wasn't as like intimidating to
It
watch.
looked normal
Yeah, like it
without
looked
knowing
a
too
little
much.
normal.
Hmm.
Yeah, and around 2019, I used that to pass the time. Like I watched more from like Zallard, Mystery Man, and Pato, and then 2020 happened, and it was the boredom year for a
Hmm.
lot of people, and I was bored one day, and I just kept looking up more Punch Out speedruns, and I thought, you know what? I got nothing else better to do, so let's just try it. And so it took 30 minutes to get the Glass Show world record, which was done on my phone actually,
Okay.
and I uploaded that one. It's May 17th, I think that's the date of it. I have it like written down somewhere, and yeah, it just went along from there. I realized that I actually was good at the game, and I only got better, and so yeah, that's how it landed me here for today.
Hmm. So, what was the first game you did?
It was Punch Out Wii.
Okay.
Because that one, I mean, like I said, I was 6 years old when I actually had that game. My dad was like one day coming home from work, and he just showed me Punch Out Wii. I was like, oh, that looks like a fun game, and we popped it in. Obviously, I was bad at it because 6 years old, but you know what? As time eventually went on, I eventually got, I guess, good at it from like a casual standpoint, and yeah, that's how I got my hands on the game. And I don't think he realized what a big butterfly effect that caused.
Yeah, I mean, the one of the first games I played, and definitely the first I ever beat, was Mario 1. So
Oh,
that's
so
how it
that's
goes, I guess.
oh yeah, yeah. It's like whatever like first game we have, that's just the one that like we grab onto, I guess.
Hmm. That nostalgia really plays a big factor. You don't think
It
about it,
did.
but it does.
It really did actually, and yeah,
Yeah, it's just interesting. A lot of people share that kind of same sentiment with
yeah,
whatever their top game is usually. Not everyone, but a lot of people. I think that's a
yeah.
major contributing factor to their decision on what to run. But
Oh, it definitely is. And as for Super Punch Out, which was like late 2020, I just got into that game because like you know what? I tried Punch Out Wii. I might as well just try out the other one. And it took a very long time for me to get into Mike Tyson's Punch Out because for one, I am kind of to the contrary of what I have. I'm not like the greatest at that game. I guess like I'm definitely not like the most dominant compared to the other two, but I'm all right at it, I guess.
I mean, that's a game that's hard to just be decent at, let alone like good at it. So,
Yeah, so I guess it does make sense in like that aspect,
hmm.
but it still is a very decently challenging. It's a very like unfair game, honestly,
Oh yeah.
from a speedrunning standpoint. I mean, you probably, I mean, you probably like already know about this from Salt and Sinister. Um, the yeah, you probably already know, so I'm not gonna
Oh
like
yeah.
mention anything much about it.
No, it's just yeah. The RNG is a bit ridiculous
Oh, it
sometimes.
is.
It was I think it was one of MPAP's videos where he was going over like the odds of getting the task time, and I just saw
That's
some of those
right.
numbers and I was like, "Oh.
Yeah,
Oh." Who knew Dawn 2 wasn't the worst one?
yeah. The crown for that goes to Bull 2 with God, I don't even know how many 1 in 16 bulldozers. I didn't count it. I mean, why should I really?
The number has a lot of zeros, and I mean a lot of zeros.
Yeah, really though.
Leave it at that, but
Like for anyone who thought that Dawn 2 was worse, no.
yeah, it really is crazy. just how RNG heavy the game is, especially again in comparison to
Really.
the others. You think the others would be pretty high too, because that just, you're playing a boxing game. You want to have that varied experience each playthrough, but
Yeah, and it's definitely weird how like as like each game went on, it like got like less random. Like Zero Punch Out is pretty random, not like 1 in 16 Dawn 2-star random, but like it definitely does have like a fair share. Well, actually, there is Narcissus, but I'll save that one for later. But it definitely does have like a fair share amount of like, oh god, like I gotta get that and that and that. But at least I only have like 3 inputs to like time instead of like 20 for Tyson or something.
yeah. Oh, the Tyson fight.
Oh yeah,
See, it's funny because I have experience with that one, and
yeah, that
so
one
I
I
can
know
speak
you have
firsthand. Oh
experience.
God.
Yeah, that one I know that like you have experience. And I saw that that recent PB of yours, all right? I expect that to go lower, all right?
um,
Now you'll do it, don't
I've
worry.
tried. I don't know. That was honestly kind of a major PB fluke thing. Might be a while before I can topple that one. I don't
Yeah,
think
and
many
then
people skip 2-4x entirely. And not only that, it was like 255 to 237. Oh, have you done better?
yeah,
All right. Fair
I
enough.
think I do have like a PB playlist somewhere. And I think it went from like 254 to 238,
Okay.
233.
You had it very similar to me then. At least
I'm trying to
there.
remember. 229, 225. Did I get a 224? I think I got a 224, then 221, then 217, 216, 211, and then
Damn.
perfect, which I'll save the perfect for later actually, because that one is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you can even like get quote unquote a perfect, minus the RNG, is
Yeah.
it's so hard in that game.
No, it really is hard.
But yeah, we can definitely dive into that more. But so you started with the Wii. When you said you played on your phone, do you mean you recorded it on your phone or like a Wii
Oh
emulator on the
yes,
phone? I got a
yeah.
little
Sorry if
confused.
I like, yeah. Sorry if I got confused. This was the only recording thing
Yeah,
that
okay.
like I had. If you like go back and watch some of like my older videos, it was just me like this, or I think I had like a mount like that, and then I just hit record. I just did attempts,
Hmm.
and I would just trim the video down my phone and then upload it to a YouTube. And
Honestly based. It works.
yeah, and actually, like, I mean, outside of the Glacio video, if you watch like, um, maybe like some of the later ones, it doesn't look like super terrible. I mean, it's still like very obvious that it's a phone, and unfortunately, I didn't have a capture card then. I got a capture card like later in it was a Christmas gift actually for 2020.
Oh.
Uh, with the only downside that my computer wasn't strong enough to record 60 FPS, so
Ooh.
it made the videos a little bit
Yeah.
bad to watch.
I've seen some shitty quality in my day, so it can't be too bad.
I mean, we can pull up another tab and look, I guess, if you want to be the judge of that.
I'll worry about that later, but as long as you could see what you did, right? So
Yeah, it's a thought that counts, and it's verifiable. They
yeah,
approved
because
it
there's
on
no
Speedrunner.com.
like the decimals are
So
all the timing is done in game, so as long as you can see that,
yeah,
there
that
you go.
was probably the biggest advantage that like I had going into that, because like for like the in-game time, it's like how would I record with this, but also show like the RTA timer? Like that would have been a real hassle to figure out. So I definitely got lucky that I chose a game that had been timed through like the end game and not so much, like RTA.
Yeah, if you need to like frame count something, then it becomes infinitely harder the more frames
Uh,
you don't have.
it's ugly. It's really ugly.
But yeah, luckily that franchise is all done in game because it works so
Thankfully,
well
yeah.
for it.
No, it really does, yeah.
All right, so I know we kind of briefly mentioned it, but I guess we can start deep diving into Punch Out Wii since you started with that.
Yeah.
So it sounded like you started with ILs.
Yeah, in fact, actually, throughout the whole stream, it mainly will just be the individual levels. I do full games here and there for Super Punch Out and Punch Out Wii, but I haven't really like put like my full like 100% dedication to it. Maybe outside of Super Punch Out because I actually do have like a decent time for that, but not as much as the individual levels. That I basically grinded like every time whenever I get home from like don't make fun of me. 6 o'clock to like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Like I was just going at it constantly. Because when I realized that I actually was good at the game, sorry, when I realized that I actually was great at the game, I was like, you know what? I want to get like every single like world record possible. I think I'm definitely more than capable of doing that.
I mean, that's a lot of work.
It's
That's for sure.
27 levels, yeah, and it definitely did take a long time because a lot of them were ridiculously hard to get.
Hmm. So,
And some of them were already task matched. So the only way for me to get record was to actually just tie the task. Um, the first world record that I actually ever gotten, it was like an untied for me. So it was like exciting, admittedly. I think everyone knows the feeling of getting like their first world record that's not like tied or like having like a various amount of people that like share it, and that was the third fight of title defense actually, Disco Kid.
hmm.
Which what makes that one very interesting is that it doesn't actually just involve the Wii remote. It does actually involve a nunchuck, which I misplaced
Hmm.
somewhere.
We all know
But
what a
yeah,
nunchuck
there's
is. It's fine.
yeah, yeah. But Punch Out Wii is mainly just playing like this, but um for two levels in particular, they actually do require the nunchuck because the only way to throw a left-handed star punch is to use a nunchuck. You can't actually do it on a Wii remote. And yes, that is a thing on Punch Out Wii, left-handed star punches.
Why is it
I know that
limited to
seems very
that?
yeah, I know it's stupid. It really is stupid that like the only way to like get access to like a certain input is to use the nunchuck, but that's what they did, and I don't know why.
And
It
yeah,
should have.
all star punches were just usually right. It was a single input, right? Like it
Yeah,
was
it was
its own
just
button.
yeah, for a right-handed star punch, it's just A or minus whatever the two, and then that's it. But if you want to use left-handed star punch, you have to like pretend like I'm holding like a nunchuck, hold the C button, and then just shake it forward. Which that's dumb. I'm sorry, but like for as much as I love Punch Out Wii, that's just dumb. Like you really shouldn't limit one button to like one other option.
That is an interesting decision.
Yeah, but left-handed
Weird.
star punches for those two fights, title defense Von Kaiser and Disco Kid, they for Disco Kid it's a slight pattern change, and for Kaiser it's just a way to like get like a certain like amount of stars quicker. But why they did that, I don't know. They really should have just made like the A and minus button like two separate buttons for those. But what do
Mhm.
I know? I guess.
What what does it do
But
differently to the right-handed one?
so for title defense Disco Kid in particular, right-handed right-handed punches versus left-handed punches will actually like make him like do different patterns because if you play the Don fight and Mike Tyson's Punch Out, it's exactly like title defense Disco Kid where like you have to like punch him for him to like retaliate.
Hmm.
Only this time using different sided punches will make him do different things. So that's why we need left-handed star punches for that.
Hmm.
And that was the one I gravitated towards the most because I was shocked as to how quickly I got one frame off on that fight, despite it being motion. It was a 9 frame perfect at the time. Now it's 15 because it got outdated with the new strategy. Thank you for that. But it was 9 at the time. It was a task time of 22 5'8", and I remember being like fully dedicated towards that fight. I don't know what it was about that one in particular, but it was the only one that was like, all right, I got a frame off. Maybe I could do better. Then 20 more happened, which that's gonna be a running joke throughout the whole stream, like the amount of one frame offset like I get on fights. So one day it finally happened, and I was one of the happiest kids alive because untied world records are not really like a thing that like you even hear of, honestly, when someone like me who's literally just starting out as a speedrunner. So that one was pretty high for me, and to this day, it's still on my phone. Like I haven't deleted that off my gallery yet,
Cool, cool.
and that
Yeah.
was yeah
Mm,
4 years ago. In fact, actually, looking at the date, it's September 29th. I did that on October 8th, actually, so it'll almost be 4 years ago.
Coming up on the anniversary.
Yup, of the first ever untied world record, and then it got outdated by a new strategy later on. So whatever.
Is what it is, but
Yeah, I still was the first to achieve it for those next a couple strategies, but whatever.
so how does the decimal system work in that game?
So for Mike Tyson's Punch Out, it's separate increments. For
Hmm.
Super Punch Out, it'll alternate between 0.02 and then occasionally there'll be a 0.01. For Punch Out, we that one is a little bit like weirder because you also have to take into consideration that the clock isn't exactly your best friend during that game. It will do all kinds of stuff. But
Hmm.
genuinely speaking, it alternates like for like every frame it's 0.06. That doesn't
Okay.
mean that it's that doesn't mean that it's like that 100% of the time. That's when the clock is moving at 100% speed. I'm not sure if you watched Punch Out Wave videos, but I'm pretty sure you may or may not have noticed that the clock does slow down during like specific parts of like specific parts of the fight, I guess. I'm not sure
Hmm.
if you picked up on that.
Nah, I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, so the clock can slow down, and because it slows down, it can change the decimal rounding positions. So sometimes you'll get times off of like 0.02, 0.03. I know that when you like miss time, like an unbuffered star punch, you'll lose 0.05 for some reason. Like the game just it doesn't want to cooperate really, the decimals. Even though like there is a consistency behind it, it's still like it, it doesn't like it doesn't like favor the speedrunner, I guess, if that makes any sense.
That's
It's
quite
a very
confusing.
frustrating clock. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got the most like screwed up clock compared to like the other two games.
which is funny because like how many glitches you can freeze the clock or mess it up in MTPO.
Yeah, there's only one fight in Punch Out Wii where you can actually stop the clock. Obviously, that one's banned.
Hmm.
Go figure. But like there are like a lot of ways that we do abuse, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the right word, where we can go against the clock. So like for example, what's a good example? So like basically we have to like let's take the Glass Joe fight for instance. So star punching during a slowdown clock will actually just make the clock go at full speed for whatever reason. But if you decide to like throw a star punch when the clock is moving at 100% speed, it will it'll actually slow down the clock and keep it at the same time, which is why
Hmm.
if you do watch the Glacier speed run, the star punch is thrown really late and not like very early. Nothing
Interesting.
really. Yeah, the clock isn't the greatest in Punch Out Wii, really. I much prefer the clock in Super Punch Out personally because it's like every frame, also it's like every two or one. It's very consistent. It's very easy to like understand. Not that I have anything against the Mike Tyson's Punch Out clock. I just think that choosing specific decimals is a little silly, I guess. Although it does make for tying the tasks a lot easier on certain fights. So I guess I digress on that one.
Yeah, that NTPO needs all the help it can get with its RNG to tie
Yeah,
task times.
but yeah, like the clock and punch out way is just it's not good at all. Like sometimes it'll like you'll notice that like it'll just like speed up during like thrown star punches or something, and it's just not ideal, which is why we like do certain inputs like at certain times really.
Hmm. And so all of the games you can buffer inputs, right?
Yes, you
Okay,
actually can buffer inputs,
that's good.
which yeah, if you couldn't, I don't even know where the game would be at really.
Things would be a little harder.
Oh, it would be. I mean, it's already hard enough as it is having that stupid clock actually just slowing down or speeding up whenever you throw star punches in particular. I think that
Mhm.
might be like the only thing that actually will mess with the clock actually. It's just throwing star punches at like specific times. I mean, like I said, when you throw it at full speed, it will slow down. But when the clock is like stopped or like it's moving at like a sluggish speed during like a specific sequence, and then throw Star Punch, it'll just make the clock go up to like normal speed for whatever reason. Doesn't really make sense, but I don't know. Star and Stunt don't stack, I guess.
But so you know all the strategies to like not have the clock mess it up, I guess.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, even fights like Last Joe, which is like the easiest fight ever, can still has like a weird trick with the clock where like you have to throw the Star Punch intentionally late, like literally the first frame when the clock hits 100% speed, in order for it to stay at like 25, or maybe it's like less than 25 actually. That's when you throw the Star Punch, and it's frame perfect, unfortunately. But we have a buffer for it now.
Well, nothing like buffering a frame perfect Last Joe knockout, right?
Yeah, but if you decide to throw the Star Punch early while the clock is moving at sluggish speed, guess what? It'll just speed up the clock.
And then sad. Interesting.
Yeah,
That is a weird system.
yeah, the clock not good. Just not good in general.
Well, I guess again, at least it's fine that you can kind of maneuver around it, but
Yeah, in fact, actually, it's not as like intrusive in like some other fights, but like I know that like there are like a handful of fights where it's like you can't like do this specific input or like the specific start input like right away, otherwise it'll make the clock speed like do some weird stuff. But genuinely speaking, the clock system is pretty much 0.06. Like that's like every frame essentially.
mhm.
There will be a 0.02 or like an 0.01 here and there, but it's not like the worst thing ever, I guess.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, you know.
Yeah, those 0.02 and 1, those occur when the clock is at 25 uh percent speed, which happens whenever you like stun like a fight or just like something like specific happens, whether they're like doing something, I guess.
Hmm.
Like I'm pretty sure here's a good comparison actually. The Dom one fight, I'm pretty sure that like you notice how the clock will slow down when you throw rapid punches.
Mhm.
That's basically like that for like just every single fight in Punch Out Way. Every time you stun an opponent, the clock will slow down at 25%. And even though you can buffer all of the stun punches, there will be some moments like the Bald Bull fight and the Macho Man fight where you actually have to like time certain stun punches, and if you mistime it, then that means you missed either 0.01 or 0.02. So imagine getting 0.01 off on a 20 frame perfect task fight.
Wonderful
Just throwing that
stuff.
out there. Just throwing it out there. I've definitely had that
Hmm.
happen, unfortunately.
Oh, what fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because during those punches, I guess like time kind of freezes, like the animations slow down a bit to make it like that whole cinematic
Yeah,
kind of thing. I guess I didn't realize it. They like
yeah,
programmed the clock to kind of slow down with time in that way.
yeah. I mean, there, like I said, there are like some other moments where the clock does slow down. Just like not during the stun punches. What are some examples? So like during like Bold Bull's bull charge, I think the clock is at 33% speed. Um, I'm trying to like think of like moves that like you would probably know of that
Hmm.
also relate to Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Um, Bold Bull Charge 33% and Piston Honda Rush 30 or 33. It was one of those two. And that's pretty much all I could like think of that like you would know of probably.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, losing 0.01 on a fight and you're trying to tie the task. And the most common decimal is 0.06. So you can just imagine how much like how much that would just really hurt to like get something that off.
And it you technically like executed everything proper. It was just like mistiming an input during a clock moment.
Yes. Which is basically the exact same thing as like just losing a frame, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it's just so like would you rather miss a frame during the 0.06 part or would you rather just miss a frame during the 0.01 part?
Both are a frame. It's just how the
Yeah, both are framed. It's just like they're weirdly like, you know, one's a worse feeling, I guess. So that means that like actually you could technically like lose like two or phone's ringing. Wow, I thought I had a clock off or
hmm.
ringtone off. So that means that like you could technically lose like 2 frames maybe during like 25% speed, as opposed to like losing 1 frame during like 100% speed.
Hmm.
If that makes like any sense. Like one is like how do I verbalize this properly so that it's like less confusing? I mean, you probably know what I mean by that. It's like,
I kind of get it. It's just
yeah,
yeah, very annoying to
yeah.
deal with.
So like you could lose 2 frames during the 25% and somehow still end up with a better time than like you could like lose 1 frame during the 100% clock speed part. Like it's a really like BS mechanic.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, because the other games you don't have to like worry about the clock all too much, I feel.
No, not really. But the clock and punch out Wii is like I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, if you just like obviously playing through like the game normally, not even a big deal. Not even close to like being like a big deal actually. But when speedrunning, it's like it's just it's a shame to like lose that amount of time on that spot as opposed to like the 100% speed
Yeah, that
because you could lose 0.01 2 or 3 times, but somehow still end up with a better time than losing 1 frame off at 100% speed clock. Like it's really annoying actually.
yeah, well, again, at least if you're off, technically like a mistake was made, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what I am saying is technically human error. Actually, like if you do execute everything frame perfectly, no matter what, you will obviously task match.
Hmm.
Like obviously, but it's just it's a very subtle thing that does kind of. I guess it does like annoy the human. Like for me in particular, there was one fight I was trying to tie the task on, and I got 1 frame off on that fight, and I was able to hit every single input just except for one.
Hmm.
And that was when the clock was moving at 100% speed. But during that specific fight, there are moments where the clock is moving at 25% speed, and you still have to obviously manually time the inputs. There was there was one input in particular where I mistimed it by like 2 frames. So you think that would be worse than my 1 frame off, but because the clock was moving at such a slow speed, um, it got me a better time, I guess. Even though it
Sure.
really shouldn't work like that.
Yeah, that's a complicated system, but
Yeah, I
at
mean, I
least
guess to like anyone who's desperately trying to improve their PB, that wouldn't matter. But if you're trying to tie the tasks, that's annoying. Like that's really
yeah.
annoying. Knowing that like you actually technically did one frame worse, but you were able to get like a better time somehow, like that just doesn't make sense to me.
No, I get it, but I mean, as long as the
Yeah.
end goal is always the same, as in like tying tasks, like it's
Yeah.
you could just think of it as like, oh well, try again.
Yeah, like I said, I mean like just every single like if you do like just every single input down to like the exact frame, you will obviously tie the task. Like the clock
Hmm.
isn't random. I should probably like go ahead
Yeah,
and
yeah,
say that in case that was like a misconception by viewers who are currently watching. The clock isn't just random. It's a
it's
big
annoying.
hindrance when you just mistime something at like a specific point during the clock speed.
Yeah, I think the best example to say it would be like on the leaderboard, one person could have made, like a 2 frame error, and one person could have made a 1 frame error, and the person that made the 2 frame error has a better time.
Exactly.
And
Even
that's
though
weird.
like not
That's
it's
weird.
weird because like, not every fight is like this. To my knowledge, it's just the Bald Wolf fights and the Macho Man fights. I know for sure do have this. Both versions, by the way, contender and title defense. There
Hmm.
are like a couple of like other ones that like do have it, but yeah, for the most part, I mean, like what like you just said, actually, like that's a perfect example, really.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing the game has. You mentioned it. The each fight has a like sequel, I guess.
I guess, yeah. And for me personally, title defense is a lot more fun than contender because I mean, well, actually, they do have like a fair share of like equally difficult fights. Like half of them are like I should say half. Like 33% are easy, then normal are hard. It's like that for like both modes, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, so each fight is different though. Like,
Yes. In fact, actually, like there is technically like I guess like one subtle mechanic for like each fight that does kind of like make it stand out, not like its own. Like Soda Popinski has like a TKO recovery thing, which I'm not sure if you heard about that or saw about that. That
mhm.
that is like a casual thing, by the way, that like does happen.
Like you can like win and randomly it's just like actually no or what?
So basically, TKO recoveries. As you know, Little Mac can survive three knockdowns, right?
Hmm.
However, during Mac's third knockdown, obviously a little like animation will play out where like he like falls down to the ground, but there's like a 25% chance that if you like mash the buttons, he'll actually just stay back up and he'll regenerate like at least 25-ish%
Oh.
of his health back.
Okay, I did not know about this actually.
Yeah. If you watch
What?
Zallard's contender Soda Popinski world record, you'll notice that Mac does that actually. That like he'll just come back even though he should have technically been knocked out.
Is that like beneficial to like improving times?
Yes, actually.
What the?
That's
Okay.
why so there's also a mode in Punch Out League called Champions Mode where taking one hit from any fight whatsoever, it could be Glass Joe even, you'll get knocked down immediately.
Hmm.
And it actually does make for faster times because the clock, I mean, you probably know this, but the clock actually does stop when Mac's knocked down and then when he gets back up. But
Okay.
it does actually help for some fights.
So
I
what, to
think
like
it,
do the IL, you have to go into this other mode to optimize
yeah,
it?
so
Okay.
it's like Champions mode. So you like turn that on and then you click on the fight that like you want to fight with, and then do the strategy where you intentionally take a knockdown. And then the reason why we do that is because it like forces them into like a new pattern specifically. I mean, you've probably seen the Sandman fight in Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
it's exactly like for that reason. We just want like a better
Ah.
pattern, and that's exactly why. But there are like
Huh.
some fights that like have like subtle mechanics like that. So Soda has TKO recoveries. the Aaron Ryan fight has like a double hit actually, where like you have to both get hit at the same time. Bald Bull has you intentionally delaying star punches as opposed to like buffering them, which that doesn't make sense at all when I'm just saying that like out loud. But when you like go into the behind the scenes for the fight, it's actually the same reason as the timer
Mhm.
mechanic, where like you have to throw star punches at but when the clock is at 100% speed for it to keep the clock slower basically, as opposed to like just doing it immediately while the clock is at 25%.
Hmm. I
What
didn't
else are some
realize
other
just how
examples?
complicated this was.
It's not really complicated,
You
let's
say
just say.
that, but
Like, okay, well, I mean, I guess it is complicated, like when you're trying to like grasp at it, but like if you're just like doing it like let's say if I just told you to like, okay, just time that input and then just time it like
like had a
there, there, and
script,
there.
you could follow the
Yeah, like just
script.
had a
Okay.
script. If you just like wrote it down, like no context whatsoever, it's not like the worst thing ever.
But the technical details are kind of
The
eye-opening.
technicality behind it and how people would discover it, yeah, that's I have no idea.
Fair enough. Yeah, I forget. At the end of the day, you can kind of just read a script and execute, keep
Yeah, we have like
trying
a
to
whole
follow it.
doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like a whole doc that actually covers like how to like do the strategies, as well as like a video attached to it.
Hmm. And
So if people are wondering like how you do it, that's how.
okay. So how many fights are in that game again?
There's 27 total for Punch Out Wii. There's 13 for Contender, 13 for Title Fence, and then you have the bonus Donkey Kong fight,
Yeah, of course.
which which may I just quickly say that that's actually like one of my least favorite fights, like casually. So doing
Hmm.
the speedrun for that one was just a major chore.
Yeah.
Like even though it's one of those fights where I guess where it is like objectively easier than like some others. It takes I think either the 11 or 12 inputs to tie the tasks on, but I guess just like with the way how like the strategy is constructed, it's just made it a lot more annoying to a grind than some like other fights that have like 20 inputs. As insane as that is to sound actually.
Yeah. And I know like doing the Donkey Kong fight is kind of hard to like unlock, I guess. It's completely random if he shows up at all.
Yes. So you have to go through max last stand mode and you have to just run into him randomly. So if you are just playing the game casually and you lose, so Mac can only lose 3 times, and then
Hmm.
once he loses 3 times, he's retired. Game's done, credits roll. If you don't run into Donkey Kong,
Rest in peace. I don't know.
tough. Yeah,
That's
tough.
crazy. Like you can't replay it or anything. It's just like nope. That's fascinating.
A dumb thing. Now, granted, it's a blessing when you're speed running the game and that you actually have to go through Laxstand because Donkey Kong actually is a pretty slow fight. But for casual, it's not really like the best thing, really.
Huh. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have to beat him. By the way, just run into him. Like you can lose to him actually, and you'll still like have him like unlocked, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, that's weird. Does that
Yeah.
make like I assume there's like an all fights full game speed run. That makes that kind of annoying, I assume.
Yeah. If you do watch one of Zallard's GDQ runs where like he goes through um the exposition menu where like he goes through the beginning of Glass Show up to like Donkey Kong. Yeah, he played on a save file where the game was already completed and that
Hmm.
he already ran into Donkey Kong during last stand mode. So that's the only way to get to him really, which is annoying.
Huh.
They should just make him like just there when you beat the game. Like credits roll, there he's there.
Yeah. Do they at least make his odds of appearing like greater?
So I do know that he is the only fight in the game that you actually can run into twice in a row. Because like when you do
Hmm.
Max Last Stand, it's impossible to do the same fight that you literally just did like one match ago.
Yeah.
But for Donkey Kong, it is the one exception. For the first three fights of a Max Last Stand, it's someone from the minor circuit and then major circuit and then world circuit, and then
Oh, I
after
see.
that it's just like all random. But Donkey Kong can appear during the major and world part. He cannot be the first fight for a Max Last Stand. I'll say that.
Okay. So he's technically there for World and
Technically,
okay.
for major and world, he can show up as the second or third fight, but it's like I think obviously doing simple math here, 20% chance that he shows up during major, and then for world, I don't know. I can't do math that quickly.
Fair enough. And in the last stand mode, is it normal and title defense fights, or all like just title defense fights?
It's just title
Okay,
defense
got it.
fights. Well, actually, so the funny thing about that, and this was like discovered when like hacking the game, if you set little max win value to like over like 2 billion or something, the contender fights will just show up in there. So you can
Okay.
have the contender fights show up with the world circuit background, which makes absolutely no sense. But it is a funny little neat thing, I guess, that no
Huh.
human could possibly run into when just doing it casually.
Sure. I love random game bullshit like that, actually.
Yeah, and as a side note, it may not actually be like 2 billion. It's just like if you put it,
Absurd
it's
number.
like a calculator. It's like two and then like plus and then like just something,
Absurd number
just
alert. Yeah.
some absurd number. Put
Wow.
like a trillion or something. Yeah, you'll guarantee get to it.
That is
But
fascinating.
yeah,
All right, so there's
uh,
27 fights.
yeah,
And
and
can you tie the tasks in all of them, technically?
yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. Is it hard though?
I can imagine.
Yeah, and to this day, only three of them have not been tied with the task. Well, technically, it would be two of them, but there was a new strategy figured out for
Mhm.
title defense soda, and I don't want to do that one really. At least, I mean, I do want to get back into it, but not right now
No, that's fine.
because that one is just terrible.
And so you have, so you've tied the tasks on 24 fights, then, and
Yes.
then you have like the record in the other three still, though.
Yes.
Okay.
For title defense soda, I was tied the task with the previous strategy, but there's a new one. No
No
one
one's
has
done it yet.
actually gone for it yet,
Got
so
it.
that's why it's still record. For TD Bowl, I am God math 0.14 off. The
Hmm.
task for that fight is 42.59, and I have a 42 uh 7.2, I think. Or so no, that's 0.13. I'm not. Oh my God, math.
Yeah, yeah.
That's 0.13. And then for TV Sandman, this one's a big rip, but I'm actually 0.01 off.
Oh, okay. So you were
And
leading up into this, I see.
that fight has 24 frame perfect inputs
Oh.
and a 50-50 phase 2.
Oh. That fucking blows.
It really does blow. And what sucks is that the one input that I lost like that frame on, it was like the easiest input possible. Every other input I nailed. All 24 or 23 of them. Actually no, it's a 25 input fight, not 24. So I nailed all 24 inputs except for one. And that one just had to have been a moment where the clock was at a slow speed for it to be 0.01.
God damn. Okay. So obviously you can tie the tasks in that fight.
I can very much tie the task on that fight. It's just when I actually want to, I feel
Hmm.
like.
And does anything stop the other two? Or
For TD Bald Bull, it's 25 inputs as well. Um, 6 of them have to be mandatory though. for the fight to even continue.
Huh.
And
So just difficult.
it's really really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I feel like if like like if someone like me were to tie the task on that one, it would just be completely random and completely lucky.
Hmm.
Like is that like it's like it's like you get either 0.01 or 0.02 off, and then that's it. Like I for me personally, it's probably the hardest one to tie the test on objectively, I should say.
Okay. And then the new strat on the other fight.
It's 14 inputs. It
Okay.
doesn't sound bad, but there's a 25% random TKO recovery,
Ah,
and then
right.
you have to get another one actually.
Oh, that'll do it.
So
Yes.
and we don't know what the odds are for a second one. I mean, we think it's 25%, so 25 so both those two together, it's 1 in 16.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't really know for sure what the odds are for the second one. It might actually be worse, which is
That
why nobody wants to do that one because it's like
okay. So that would be
you
the
put
most
in
RNG heavy fight
that is the
currently.
most
Okay.
random heavy fight. It's worse than 1 in 16, which is a shame because
Hmm.
like no other fight has ever been like that. Like the worst that we've seen throughout that game is either 50-50 or 25. And that's like nothing.
Yeah, no, that's damn, that sucks.
And it's also it's a shame because it's also the reason why I speed ran Punch Out Wii. Like I had heard that Super Punch Out and My Cousin's Punch Out have some randomness into it, which is why I avoided those.
Hmm.
But eventually, I did get into Super Punch Out in late 2020.
Yeah, the last question I have of the Punch Out Wii though is, have you done like full game or just kind of the ILs?
So I have done. There are technically like two full games for Punch Out Wii. There's the regular full game from Glass Show up to Max Last Stand, and
Hmm.
then there's just contender mode only.
Okay.
Obviously, I did that one, and it's only 13 fights, so it's not that bad. I had a shot at record up till the third last fight. My time is like an 801, and the world record is a 756.
Hmm.
So maybe I'll get there, perhaps.
And that does IGT like
Yes, that
okay,
is the end game. You add
like
up
single
all
segment
of the
Adam.
times.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it, got it.
the hardest ones are well, Sandman isn't like he is hard, but like he's only really like super hard because of like just nerves and like pressure just leading up to it. The most annoying ones are Dawn, Bear Hugger, and King Hippo, really. And I guess Bald Bull because I'm doing the new strategy for that one,
Mm-hmm.
which the new strategy for that one is really annoying. It's actually just the individual level strategy, which requires 3 frame perfect punches.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
fun.
Dawn is another good example as to why the clock is so just why the clock is just like a big hindrance.
Dawn and clocks, what up with that?
Yeah, so you might actually be surprised by this, but both of the Dawn fights are actually the only two fights in the whole game where you actually don't have to technically be perfect to match the tasks on.
Hmm.
Because the weird thing about Dawn is that he actually does have a loop where it's like gut punch, face punch, and the clock moves at 10% for that sequence, or maybe it's like 25 or something. But yeah, you can task tie that fight pretty easy, even though there's like 17 non-buffered inputs for that fight.
Hmm.
Only 3 of them have to be perfect.
Huh.
Because the loop for that fight, you can hit the so whenever you do the loop, you have to obviously do face hook, and it all has to be manually timed, obviously. But you can actually either hit the first frame of it or the second frame of it, and you can still tie the task for that one, which is like the weirdest thing ever because like I've never seen anything like that before. I have no idea why it's even like that,
Hmm.
but that keeps the clock slow enough so you could technically like have an attempt where like you hit the second frame of like every loop and still end up with a perfect time, as opposed to like hitting the loop frame perfectly every single time and getting task time. It's the only fight in the game that's like that, really.
What an interesting game.
Yeah.
So, when you brought up there's the speed run where you go from start to the last stand.
Yeah, so
How
that
does the ending of that work?
the ending for that one, so what you need to do is go up to Glass Joe and then go to Title Fence Sam and beat him, and then obviously you'll get the little cutscene where like Doc says, you know, that you sure that like you want to retire or not, and obviously you do that. So what you need to do is intentionally lose 3 times as fast as possible
But it
to
would be
get to the
random depending
credits.
on. Yeah, okay.
There's the catch. Technically, you can manipulate the first fight by using like an SD card actually, but the other two are completely random actually.
And so the time, and it's still like in-game time, right? So
It's still in game time, yeah.
you add the in-game time for your failure in the fight.
Yeah, and you can
Okay.
actually do that normally, by the way. Like if for some reason you wanna speed run, I guess, Punch Out Wii, but you actually lose some fights, you can just add the lost time to it, and it's still verifiable.
Hmm.
Which is, I guess, it makes sense, really. I mean, compared to like Tyson and Super, they don't have that. Or actually,
Interesting.
Super technically does have that, but if you lose intentionally, you'll lock up the special circuit, and you can't actually beat the game.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, so that's how it works.
All right. Interesting. Punch Out Wii is a
Should I?
fascinating speedrun.
It's one of my personal favorites because very little randomness, and it actually does feel like, you know, good skill does reward you.
Hmm.
Even though the Wii remote is terrible,
Fair
which is like
enough.
the only thing that like will actually hold you back. Like the D-pad for this thing, it's just ridiculously small,
Yeah, most
and
Nintendo D-pads are just bad, I've noticed.
they really are. The only
So,
one that I think I actually like is the Super Nintendo one, which
yeah, that's
right
probably the
there.
best one.
Yeah, N64,
Eh,
not like the greatest, but I suppose it could be
GameCube's too
worse.
small.
Yeah,
Even
GameCube
the
is just
Switch
too small.
Pro isn't good, which I'm
Yes,
sure you know from Nintendo World Championships. The Switch Pro is not good.
yeah. Fun game, I will admit, and it actually is pretty fun to speed run, but trying to do stuff on that thing is not
Hmm.
enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with them and D-pads, but if only they could get their shit together.
I don't
Anyway.
know. They probably just had like 2-year-olds test the game. No wonder why everything is so easy.
Well, speaking of Super Nintendo, I guess we can go into Super Punch-Out now.
Yeah, Super Punch Out.
So,
So,
yep.
Chillon didn't read. I just wiped the floor with that game, but they'll extend it. So, Super Punch Out actually was kind of intimidating for me at first because it was like the first like speedrun game where I actually did tap into like the randomness. Even if it's not as bad as Tyson's Punch Out, it's still obviously very much present.
Hmm.
So, in fact, actually, let me pull. Actually, no, I can't pull up the guide on there. But just to like I suppose give you like an idea as to how I guess bad some of them are. You have fights like the Aaron Ryan fight, which is like 31% guaranteed that that like okay, a good luck, which isn't that bad, you know.
That's fine, yeah.
Then you have Narcissus Prince, 1 in 1,609.
Oh, that sucks. Is that the worst one,
Yeah,
though?
that is the worst one. I'm pretty sure you caught a couple of streams of Zallard doing attempts actually.
Probably, I'm sure, but
That is single-handedly the worst one to get the task time, which is weird because execution-wise, it's like it's actually like not even like that bad. Like if Narcissus actually was 100%, the execution is like really easy actually. I mean
hmm.
maybe like the under pressure part that can change it, but for the most part, if that fight was even like I'd say like 20% random, Yeah, task tie on that one, like just every single day. Like
Fascinating.
it'd be no question. It's only like technically two inputs, but there is one buffer that's kind of wonky. There are some people that like to time it without the buffer because of how terrible it is.
Hmm.
So it could be three, I guess. It's just
Okay.
2 to 3. I'll say that.
2 to 3 frame
But
perfects, you mean?
yeah, the
Okay.
first Super Punch Out one that I did, or the first five, I should say, because there's 16 total, and the game was fairly easy. So the first five that I did was Gabby J, Bob Charlie, Piston Hurricane, then Aaron Ryan, and then Nick Bruiser.
Hmm.
Nick Bruiser is the final fight, yes, yet he's a pretty easy one to tie tasks on.
Yeah, so what's like the second heaviest RNG fight?
The second one, um,
Just curious what the swing is.
I guess it is technically Nick because he has odds of like roughly 3.4%, but he only has to time like one thing, so it's just a
Okay.
matter of just waiting for it to happen. Narcissus is the worst, then it's Nick, and I am kind of lost as to where it goes from
Okay.
there. I know that Mad Clown is like 1 in 21, and some others are like either like 25, 1 in 8 or something. Like just like some
Okay.
other like specific numbers. The best one I will say is Bolt Bull, which has odds of 62.5,
Hmm.
which that's very favorable. Except when he doesn't do it, it sucks.
Fair. Wow, so that for like at least task tie attempts, the
Yeah.
game isn't too bad.
It's not the worst. I mean, you have fights that have like just one input to time, two, three, four, and five, and those are the only ones. The five inputs could probably like maybe take you like a tiny bit longer, but it's not like the worst. Like as time like went on, they're not like as intimidating as they once were.
Hmm.
The worst one is Clown now, and it's the only fight to actually cross over the five frame perfect range. It's not five, it's not six, but it's actually seven, and that's the
Hmm.
most amount for Super Punch Out speed running.
Honestly, that sounds great compared to the other games. So
It does, but it has the odds of 1 in 21, so
yeah,
it
that sucks.
will definitely take you a little bit. And this was actually back in the day where that was playing on Wii U Virtual Console. Actually, I wasn't even playing on Super Nintendo.
Oh, so you have to deal with like at least an extra frame. I
There
think
you
Wii VC is like
go.
1 frame of lag or something like that.
I think it might actually be worse. I know that Switch,
Depending on your like
like,
monitor and whatever you're playing on, yeah, it can affect
yeah,
it.
like I know that like Switch is three, maybe four, depending on if it's docked in or if it's like
Hmm.
undocked. But yeah, I did have to deal with the annoyance of the input delay, but it didn't stop me. I was able to tie the task on that one, and I never want to do that one ever again, if I'm being honest.
Well, you never have to. You did it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are like some fights that I actually did redo again on the cart, which somewhere over there. Even when I went to a GDQ, I actually was able to tie 14 out of 16 of them.
Oh, well, damn.
So shows how far I came.
Okay, so do you have like all the records in this game too?
For Zero Punch Out, yes, I do. I do have
Okay.
16 out of 16. For the NTSC, should I get into PAL?
Gross, no.
So PAL is actually way easier because it's 50 frames per
Mhm,
second. I played it on the Mac, literally right next to me.
mm.
Um, and again, they were all very easy. Uh, remember what? So I mentioned Nick. He was only 1 frame perfect input, and then that's it. Time tasks. What if I told you that Nick actually had zero,
Beautiful.
and that you don't actually have to like time anything? The entire fight is buffered. Um, and it's just a matter of waiting for the odds. I didn't get into PAL Super Punch Out till like late 20. I think it was 2022. I think. I, yeah, that sounds about right. So I was still mostly doing the Super Punch Out from 2020 to I think it was April of 2021 when I actually got 16 out of 16 for the time because Mad Clown somehow 8 years later got a new strategy change
Hmm,
till 2022.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, uh, are there like leaderboards for that, or is it mainly like an NTSC thing?
There are. We do actually have a separate category. So like there is
Okay.
the NTSD and then there is PAL, and you can submit to whichever one. I do have all 33 of them, and I
Oh,
am.
okay.
It was. It took a little bit, but I eventually got there.
33.
Yep, there's 33 total. Which I know that sounds like an off number because there is 16 and 16. The one extra fight is actually Rick Bruiser. In the Japanese version, he has a faster reeling animation, and that's the only subtle change. That's the only change in there.
Okay. Sure.
Don't know why that had to been a thing, but you know what? It makes up for like a new time, and we even have a place to submit it. So I was like, all right, I'll do that one. Got it done quick.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Once
So,
again, that was played on there. I don't obviously have like a Famicom or something to like run Japanese on it.
mhm. So, are all of those records task ties?
They are task ties. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
wow.
they are. Like I said, it definitely did take a while to actually like get something. I mean, nowadays it probably wouldn't take nearly as long, with Narcissus being like the only one that like could really hold you back, and Clown could take like at least under like 12 hours, I'd say, of grinding, and then that's it. But yeah, for the most part, I
Hmm.
was able to tie the tasks, and when the new strategies came out for the PAL version, I just quickly rushed to it. I wanted to get them all as fast as I could.
So you have 33 out of 33
I do have
record
33.
and task tie. They're all task tie.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, if we do some math, actually, I'm gonna toot my own horn for this. 33 out of 33, and then you have 27 for Punch Out Wii. Put them both together, it's 60. And if we count the sub game Doc Lewis's Punch Out, that's three more, so that's 63. And then for Mike Tyson's Punch Out, I have the five task ties and the Piston Honda one fight, so that's six. So it's 69. And then for the Gold Punch Out, there's just Don one on there, which is different. So that's 70 total.
You got to get that
Just
record out of here.
just a little flex.
No, you
Just a
got to
little
you got to have
flex.
69, you know. That's the meme number.
Oh no.
Oh, no, I had to outdo it, I guess.
It's a funny number. No, I get it. We all get it. We all get it.
Man, I forgot there were like other weird versions of Punch Out.
Yeah, Gold Punch Out only has like technically four different fights. Don one, you can get the star quicker. Soda has slower like the uppercuts. Don two doesn't have a random health refill in phase three, and Macho Man fight is just slower overall.
Huh, weird.
But I'm not doing those fights because, for one, Macho Man actually has no code in Gold Punch Out.
What?
So you can imagine the grind up to that one. Like for people that complain about Bull One, they haven't seen anything till you get to Gold Punch Out Macho Man.
Ah, wait, are like the odds even worse?
They're I guess they are technically the same. It's just like the overall fight just feels slower. Like Macho
Okay,
Man is like not as like sporadic or quick as like he was in the later version,
okay, just
but I'm not
bad. Got it.
sure what the final time would be for comparison to the 4325, which is the task for the one that we have now.
Okay. Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, and then Doc Lewis's Punch Out. I forgot that existed.
Yeah, it's just like a fun little sub game. So this was actually around the time where I was actually starting out of college, and I some parts of it were easy, some of it weren't, and then during my free time I was like, you know what, I've seen people like homebrew their Wii's constantly, and keep in mind I didn't know anything about it, so I was just dumb. All right, I was a dumb little kid that like didn't know about homebrewing Wii's or like any kind of like modded console. So I was like, I'm gonna try to see if I can get my Wii homebrewed, and I did. It did work,
It's easy.
and
It's surprisingly easy to
it
hack your
really was
whatever.
surprisingly easy. I don't know why I didn't do it like way earlier. I
The
think it was
guides
like
are super straightforward right now. It's great. I
yeah.
hacked mine in like 2010 to play custom
Yeah,
Mario
that I
Kart.
did. That I did hear about that in a Salsa podcast.
Oh, did I talk about
Uh,
that? That's
yeah, you did
crazy.
actually.
I wouldn't have
That's the
remembered.
that's the only thing that like I actually do remember from that was just the
That's
modding Wii part because
that's
that's
funny.
um. But yeah, I did do it, and then eventually I did get Doc Lewis's Punch Out, and then just like that, got all 3 task ties. Boom, bam, done.
Okay, what are the fights in that game?
It's just Doc Lewis. That's it. It's just
But three
each one
times?
gets yeah, just 3 times. There's warming, training, and then sparring. With
Uh,
sparring, obviously
okay.
being the hardest one casually, but surprisingly the easiest one to tie the tasks.
All right.
It's just
Interesting.
it's actually 5 inputs technically,
Hmm.
and then training has 8, and then warm up has 9.
All right. So some
So
work, but not
yeah,
terrible.
so casually the game gets harder, but speed running it's in reverse.
That's funny.
Yeah,
All right. So back to Super Punch Out, I guess. So
yeah.
you have the Narcissus Prince task.
First one,
How long
and
did
to
that
this day,
take?
5 days.
Huh? All right, you're gonna have to explain yourself, actually.
So okay, so I didn't even have the rest of the task ties by that point. Actually, I was just simply doing it just for the hell of it. All right, I literally had zero expectation to get it. Wasn't even planning on getting it, and then day one, somehow I was able to get my first frame perfect phase one, which is a 662. I'm pretty sure you might have seen that somewhere,
Okay.
but that is what a frame perfect phase one is. And then I got an 815 into his angry phase, and I was like, holy shit, I actually have a chance to like tie the attacks right here and there, and then he blocked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped recording. I was like, okay, what just happened? I seriously did not just do that because this was around the time when a speedrunner by the name of Fat Potato Seal was also grinding it. And to give you a just to give you like an idea as to how long it took him to do it, granted he was very, very unlucky. It
Mm-hmm.
took him 262, or actually it was like over 250 days, something
Oh
like
my fucking god.
somewhere around that. He literally did it every single day just to get it. All eyes were on him to actually be the first one to do it, and I do kind of feel bad that I got it like within 5 days, basically taking away his glory. But I am glad to like say that like it did not actually like he was still obviously congratulated. It was celebrated.
Okay. So, how many people have that one then?
7 or 8, I
Oh,
think.
really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the first time that like I did it, it was back in April, or actually no, it was March of 2021. That was the first time I did it, and that was day 5. That was, I think it was my third or maybe second frame perfect phase one. I think it was second. Yeah, it took either 2 or 3. It's been 3 years. I can't like keep
Yeah,
track of that.
that's
I'm sorry.
fine.
Um, and then I got the 815 into angry, and then he took the final super. I saw 820, and I screamed. I screamed so damn loud. My parents thought I was like dying from like murder or something. Like I was like
Dying from
screaming
murder.
so damn loud.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually thought that.
Great.
So when I said it was like a speedrunning thing, I was like, oh okay, and then just walked back upstairs.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy fast for that.
yeah, and I still remember that day like it was yesterday. Like I was just literally slouched on the couch. This was back in the day where like my Wii U was like downstairs. I was just slouched down on the
Oh, you
couch
did on
just
Wii U
doing
too?
this.
Oh my
Yeah, I did it on Wii U too. I did everything on Wii U actually,
god.
unfortunately.
Oh
But
well.
I was just slouched back on the couch just doing this, and then when I got 662, I was like, all right, I have to stand up because this could actually like be real. And then yeah, that attempt happened. I uploaded it to YouTube, and everyone freaked out basically.
Yeah, and again, used to the
Because
odds were like 1 in 1,600 something.
yeah, I mean back then we didn't know what the odds were actually. It took
Oh,
us
okay.
till like I want to say around 2022 to figure out. So in people's minds, it probably could have been like way worse than what they were expecting.
Hmm.
But I, yeah, that day I'll definitely never forget it. Like
Wow.
just me like the part where like I was just screaming and then parents like rushed downstairs, thought I was like dying or something. That was the funniest bit for me. And then just to
Yeah.
reveal that like it was just like a video game thing, I was like, oh, all right, just
All right,
go away
bye.
then.
Who
Yeah,
cares? Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember, Fat Potato Seal had that really insane single segment run. I remember from the Salt video.
yeah. And to this day, I still feel really bad for him. The
Yeah.
fact that it could have been a 227. Nowadays, if he used the newer strategies, it probably would have been like a 226 actually. The fact that like he was
Hmm.
able to like do that with some of like the older strategies is kind of remarkable. I mean, granted, I don't think it changed the randomness that much, but just like the thought of like, what if the new strategies were a thing at that point, and he could
Hmm.
have gone to a 226? Like, man, because I personally never had like a 2-2x attempt into Nick. I've had like one going into special circuit and maybe the second fight of Hoy, but never into like the bruiser fights.
Yeah, I know the odds of just getting like good times in that game are really ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
Just because
obviously
it stacks.
not Mike Tyson's punch out levels of ridiculous, even though
Not
actually
quite, but
some are technically worse. Like I know that King Hippo has 1 in 38. I know that there are probably some super punch out fights that are way worse than that. Not just like I think actually maybe Nick might
hmm,
actually be worse than that. Although I don't know what it looks like percentage wise. So
okay. But
uh,
yeah, I just remember that fight and would have been record to this day, I think, if it was
it
like the
yeah
last RNG part or something, I think.
yeah. So it literally all just came down to a 50-50 Nick counter. A 50-50, by
That's
the way.
so stupid.
And really, though, it's like that is something that we cannot hold against him because when you're under like that amount of pressure, I can't even like place myself in his shoes to even like consider like what would that situation even be like if I had like the record of a lifetime
Hmm.
and then just going into the final fight and then losing it to a 50-50.
That no, that just is so
I
unfortunate.
I can't even imagine that. And the odds for his run was actually corrected to be 1 in 100,000, not 1 in 2 million, like in Salt's video. Obviously, still very insane. And props to Salt for actually mentioning that during his pinned comment. But yeah, it's not like as it's like super dramatically insane as it was in the video. It's just
One in a
minorly
hundred
insane.
thousand's pretty big.
I know it's just minorly insane. Not like oh my god, like over the moon insane. It's just wow.
Stupid.
That's
What the?
really insane.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, single segment. Have you done like much single segment?
So I did mess around with single segment for Zero Punch Out during
Yeah.
2021 and I stopped because single segment just really isn't my thing, I guess personally, but I thought
Fair.
I'd give it a try now. And I actually did all right for the most part. I mean, I have a 235 now, so
Hmm.
I'll take that with pride. That actually would have been a record back in like 2016 or something before Mr. Man got a 236. So I'll take that.
Got it. Huh. Yeah, I wonder what the odds of the like current record are. I'm not too familiar with the scene, but
I think it's like 1 in 50,000 maybe.
that's still crazy, though.
That's still yeah, obviously just bonkersly insane.
Yeah, Seal's just got to get that RNG again. it's it's fine. No.
We'll maybe see one more record after that one. But outside of that, I think the game would be done for if we got like a 226 actually.
Yeah, like just the
And then
odds are too
it would
much.
literally just all come down to hopefully getting that exact same luck again and then just beating it by like increments.
Wow. I can't believe like that game's almost, quote unquote dead just because of how the game like kind of works.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Just a fascinating
But
game, but
yeah, it is. It's a pretty easy task matching game, even though there are some fights that can be a little bit but not like Mike Tyson's Punch Out levels of bad, obviously.
hmm, yeah. All right. So, I guess we can get into, the game everyone thinks about when they think of Punch Out. So,
Tyson's Punch Out, the one that everyone has probably heard about twice,
of course, of
maybe,
course. Well,
maybe
because
a couple
there's
of
two
times.
releases of it. That's why they've heard about it twice.
Yeah.
You got Tyson and Mr. Dream. Can't forget.
So Tyson's Punch Out is definitely definitely one of my weakest Punch Out games personally. It's definitely the game that like I haven't spent the most amount of time on. Granted, I am playing with a disadvantage by not having a power pack or like some kind of
Oh my god.
like
Okay.
Everdrive. Yeah, everything that I did, I never had like a save state of some kind. So I had to just learn it all raw. And did alright, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
I got like a time here and there.
You literally have like a perfect Tyson, right?
So about the Perfect Tyson actually. So before my travel to GDQ, I still had like a 211, and that was actually not perfect. I missed one hook,
Mm,
and it haunted me for so long. I think that video might actually be like a year or two old now. And ever since then, I just have been desperately trying to grind out for a perfect. But the thing is that I'm just not the best when it comes to Tyson hooks,
mm,
which is something that I'm pretty sure that like every other runner could maybe relate to when they're starting off with. You know, uppercuts are easy because you have like a set rhythm for it. Hooks, you have to not only time the dodge correctly, but also time the punch within that dodge to really like get them down. And for it took a while to get my first perfect Tyson, and the first perfect one actually ended up being a lot better than what I expected to be. Because a lot of other first perfect Tyson fights are either 210 or 209. Like you've probably seen them
mm.
before. Mine was actually a 206.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got like the god pattern of phase three. I like a 128 phase two, which meant I actually couldn't buffer phase three,
Yeah.
the first hook. So I had to just eyeball eight, and somehow Tyson was kind enough to give me a good pattern. So a 206 is now in my hands. The only problem with that PB is that it's gonna be a real monster to beat.
I mean, technically, you don't even have to. You have a perfect Tyson. It's just
I
literally
know,
like the RNG of the pattern at this point, right?
yeah, because like even when you had like a 210 or like a 209, you probably still could like perform it better by just getting like a 128 phase two. But
Hmm.
now I'm at the point where I skipped that part entirely, and now I have to just
You're
rely
at the
on
mercy
Tyson
of
being
Tyson, yeah.
good luck. Yeah, I'm already at
Unless
the
you get
mercy of
that phase
Tyson.
3 uppercut, right?
Um,
Yeah.
I know I do want to try it out someday, and I probably could maybe do it one day. Like the fastest phase two that I've actually ever had was a 126, just
Mm.
1 second off of 125. But maybe one day, just
Yeah, that
one
fight
day.
is crazy.
Yeah, because only two people now actually. I can't say one because only two people now have actually successfully succeeded at phase three uppercut.
Mm. And like finished a PB with it, at
Yeah,
least. Yeah.
yeah. There were some runners that like actually like had seen one but never like completed the attempt.
Yeah, it's wild that fight because even like the perfect fight, like with what you have, no phase 3, like
Yeah,
what are kind of like, not the exact odds because they vary quite a bit, but what are like approximate odds and then the number of frame perfects?
for just like a phase three or like. like a
For
basically
like
uppercut
your run, as
for
an
my run.
example.
So
Yeah,
so so that I don't really know for sure outside of 8 second delay being 50-50, obviously.
I see.
But I do know that like every delay that Tyson does throw, um, I'm pretty sure that like it is 50-50 as well. But I'm not like 100% sure on what it should be. Like I mean, I know for sure that if I get like 3 bad delays total, my chances of PB are significantly low. Then I
Okay,
think
so
that sounds like getting
like
2 bad delays. I could still maybe work off of that. So
okay,
just something like
so
that.
the odds aren't like fantastic, but
They're
they're
not
not.
fantastic. I mean, maybe like depending on the circumstances, I probably could maybe sneak out with 3 bad delays, but I'm not like I don't know for
Mhm.
sure. I'm
Yeah,
not the Tyson expert like Salt is really.
yeah, like there's so much RNG in the fight where
There
it's
is,
hard to
yeah.
make an
Not
approximated guess, I guess. But
not to mention switchbacks are a thing, which are like the worst thing possible.
yeah, I watched Impep's video of how like the phases are done and like the odds, and I'm just like, yep, those are some letters and numbers on the screen.
Yep,
Sure.
those are definitely some letters and numbers on. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a complicated mess of a flowchart, but at least you can like kind of figure it out, I guess. It's just so weird how the RNG
no, it
works in that
is.
game. But yeah, remind me how many frame perfects like the fight you have would require.
Uh, 20, 21, 22, I think are needed to like get the perfect Tyson, and that's not
Yeah.
counting like dodging the uppercuts.
Yeah. So those are just the frame perfect punches to get max damage, and then, like the RNG
See,
fest that is the Tyson fight beyond just the frame perfect hits.
yeah, and I've only ever gotten frame perfect just one time, one perfect Tyson in my whole life,
Yeah, like I mean,
and
it's
I
so
don't know if yeah, I'm not ready to pull my hair out, turn on that CRT again, and do it. I'm
totally
not ready
fair.
for that.
I'm just impressed by anyone that's able to get a perfect Tyson because, like, again, the execution is ridiculous, and then the RNG is also ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I might actually be the most recent runner to actually get a perfect Tyson.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if like anybody else did it recently.
Yeah, there's honestly quite a good number than what you'd think, but it's
Yeah,
not crazy or anything.
yeah. But I'm not gonna touch that fight for a little bit. I'm proud of my 206. It's actually the I guess record for the fastest first perfect Tyson actually.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna step away from that.
Ride the high.
I'll do something else for the time being, and then eventually I'll get back into grinding up perfect Tysons. Maybe face the uppercut, but I'm not sure. I probably not. But what do I know? I say that I'm not gonna do something, but then I end up doing it anyway.
And then
Pretty sure everyone knows that feeling.
yeah, of course. And then what's your like history with the other ones in this game?
Glass Joe and Dawn I done on Switch because I didn't have
Hmm.
the NES console or a CRT yet.
Those are free though.
Tiger,
It's fine.
yeah. Although Tiger and Hippo I did also do on Switch as well
That
actually.
is weird.
Yeah,
Especially
and
Tiger, goddamn. That
yeah,
took me
Tiger.
forever to get one.
Yeah, and props to actually doing Tiger before Tyson, by the way, because if you try and tie task on Tiger, your punches for Tyson will just be messed up entirely due to how much more delayed Tiger really is.
Well, my strategy was to like do some weird double quick buffer and just hope it was like on the right frame for
That's
the
right.
punch.
That's right. I think I've actually maybe seen your video of you doing that.
But it worked.
It did work. Whatever works. Von Kaiser I did do on the NES, but I did do it on like an LCD TV, so it still had a
Still, yeah.
disadvantage. And before Von Kaiser Test was Piston Honda Record on the LCD as well.
And that's like not a task tie though.
That's not a task tie. That's still obviously beatable to this day because if anyone gets 3697, I'm gonna like I don't know what I do.
Are the odds of
I
that like a bit ridiculous?
I think it's the third worst.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
It's so Bull 2 is worse, Down 2 is worse, and then it's Honda 1. That is the
Interesting. Okay.
third worst one. The odds of record are like 1 in 10,000, between 1 and 12, I think. Somewhere like in the middle of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yep. And
Yep.
I don't know how. I like
Apparently,
I
you're
really
just
don't know how.
lucky.
I'm a very lucky person when the time comes.
How about rubbing it off on some of us unlucky people? You know.
I mean, I can't say that like I'm well, I mean, I don't know if I should really say that. Like I have like gotten away with so many like task ties or like world records that do require like a decent amount of grinding, but I like was able to like get them just because shoutouts to the RNG gods, I guess.
Hmm.
But for Honda 1 in particular, before that strategy, I was actually grinding the standard like strategy that I think has odds of like uh 1 in 150, I think, if you watch Pap's video. That's the strategy that gets like a mid 40 time. And the one that like I did, and actually let me just say the only reason why I did that strategy was because I already gotten a PB for Honda 1 that was satisfactory, so I thought, uh I still I still need to get Kaiser tasks, so I think just to kill time, I'll just do this thing on Honda 1. And he let 3 face jabs happen, and then he literally let like the rest happen. And I don't know why.
Oh yeah, the only way to get to that fight is to play Joe and or Kaiser.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So I thought just to kill time, I'll just do Honda 1.
Hmm.
And then he gave me like literally like everything.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, 39.97 is where the record stands. I was slow in phase 3, so unfortunately I couldn't get like a .82 or something because like the nerves leading up to it.
Oh well.
But, I don't think literally anyone cares, really.
No.
It's still sub 40, and it actually does match up with the Honda 2 task time 39.97, so
Hmm.
we got it balanced.
As all things should be.
Yup.
So I assume you have Hippo.
Yeah, Hippo and Tiger. So
Yeah.
that's 6 total. I was trying to do Bull 2 because that one also isn't like the worst. Well, actually, the only reason why I'm doing that one is was because of the new opening strategy where you can get him to like throw 3 rolling jabs instead of 2, which actually um reduces 1 misdirect and makes the odds 1 in 256. But I have been very unlucky with that one. Like that one actually has been like too
Finally.
kind to me.
No.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
No, it's just,
Like like if I pull up my stats on here, actually, yeah, I'm at 110 33s and 5 54s.
mhm.
And once you get a 54, it's just one misdirect in your way, and Bull hasn't given it to me. Like even after like 5 of them, you think he would do it, but no.
Of course not.
Yeah,
So,
I finally got bad luck. There you go. It's to everyone who complains that I'm like a lucky person.
so obviously, you've almost like completed Punch Out Wii with the ILs. You
Yeah,
have Super Punch Out, and then
yeah.
what's like
Super
your
Punch Out
goal?
is wiped,
Yeah, that is
wiped out.
wiped. Do you have
My
like a
goal
goal
with
for
Punch Out
MTPO?
Wii.
Yeah, or MTPO?
So for my Tyson's Punch Out, I for for that game, I do want to see if I can get Hada 2 because I do kind of know like what's going on in that fight, and the odds are actually 1 to 8, which is
Yeah,
a
but the
god blessing.
execution is stupid.
Yeah, the execution is pretty stupid. Um, Sandman Task, I'm not sure if I even want to try it the fact that Salt was able to like skip 0.61 is still remarkable in my opinion. But my goal for um Mike Tyson's Punch Out is that I actually do have like a set certain of times that like I do want to achieve for like each fighter. So for Bull 2, if I get like a 113 or something, I'm done. I'm not doing that fight ever again.
Hmm.
Honda 1, I'm probably not going to do that fight ever again as well, even though I really wanted to get a 0.82, which is stupid of me for me to think because 1 in 10,000 odds, like why should I even do it again?
Yeah, you're good.
Um for Bull 1, Macho, and Don 2, it's just to really like get like specific times. Like I think 45 Macho works. Don 2, 116, maybe under it. Bull 1 is probably under. Bull 1 currently is sub 1 minute, but I wouldn't be surprised if I could do like a 56 maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. MTPO at least has a like a spreadsheet that has like a grading scale.
Yeah, and I am trying to get the A plus for like every single one. But even though
Okay.
like there are some times that aren't A plus, I still want to improve. Like my Sandman PB is A plus, but it's only like a 217 flat. That is very much improvable. I'm not gonna upload that till I get 216.
All right
Uh,
then.
Soda is also A plus, but I want to improve by just a few increments, and then after that I probably call it quits. Those are my goals for my Tyson's Punch Out. I might tackle single segment at some point because I know that the whole community really like wants me to. Like I know that Jader K3 say that I should do it, and they're right. I probably should do it at some point, just not right now. I do
Yeah, I
have
mean,
like a joke time, which for a joke time actually isn't like that bad. I guess it's a sub 18, but I do want to eventually throw in like serious attempts down the road.
I have a 40.
Maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't say joke time then. My apologies.
Well, my time is a joke time too because um
I know,
I
but it wasn't supposed to be like an insult to like
no no
anyone
no
else
no.
that has like a time prior.
I was messing, but
No, I know.
my time that's on the board was I was like I had made it through Honda or whatever, and I know Dawn, I knew Tiger, I knew Hippo, and I was like, I know nothing beyond Great Tiger other than Tyson. Let me just see if I can beat the game, and then I got 14-0, and I was like, oh okay,
Well,
I'm gonna submit that because I didn't expect to like beat the game 14-0 first try I've
and
ever
you know what?
played the full game. So
Props to you though for actually like just beating the whole game in like one try. Because I mean, like you said at the very beginning of the stream, that's like the hardest game to like do really compared to like Super and Punch Out Wii.
mhm. So it's up there to force me to actually like not have a horrible time someday, but
Yeah.
as it
Well,
stands
those are
right
my
now.
yeah, but those are my goals for Mike Tyson's Punch Out. For Super Punch Out, I guess I could improve my single segment time. I know that
Nothing else to do in that game, right? So,
there's one runner in particular that wants to beat me, but I want to make sure that that doesn't happen.
mm,
And
rivalry.
for Punch Out Wii, yeah, he's probably watching in Twitch right now. And for Punch Out Wii, I do want to try the new TD Soda strategy, but that one's like a living hell. And for TD Sandman, cutting a decimal off
Yeah,
for
that
a
sucks.
24-25 input fight and a 50-50 random blink. Obviously I know it's in like, within reach. Like it's
You've
literally right there. But
essentially
like
done it already.
is it worth it though? Cuz at the same time it's like it can be beaten. So like should I really like pull hair out trying to get to it?
I mean, um, just a random kind of tangent, but kind of works. Like this week's Nintendo World Championship, you can tie all the tasks and all five of the challenges.
True.
I
I'm
have
not
four
doing
out
the
of five, and I'm one frame off the last one. But it's
I'm at
like,
4 to 5 too, but I'm not going to bother with
yeah,
Mario in 1-1.
yeah. But it's like
Um
that one frame, you gotta save it, right?
Well, I mean, the championship ends in like 12 hours actually, or
Mm,
like my like yeah, 12 hours. So I don't know. You might want to get to it.
yeah.
But for TV Sandman, there actually is one thing that I didn't mention at the very beginning when we were talking about Punch Out Wii. So for TD Salmon, have you ever heard of the headgear loss?
I know in some of the fights, like they kind of lose headgear, I guess. I'm gonna just go
For
with no.
Okay, so in the career mode where you play the game from start to finish, go through like the circuits and stuff, if you lose a total of 100 times, the game will actually pity you and just give you like a headgear so that like you take like less damage. It's basically like the game's way of saying like you suck, but like maybe you can like get past the levels if you just take this thing. So Mac actually does wear like a headgear actually.
Huh.
And
I did
TD
not know about
Sandman
this.
actually does need it. Like you actually do need the headgear to speedrun Title Defense Sandman.
Okay. Sure.
Want me to go into the reasons as to why actually?
Why not?
So TD Sandman is one of the few fights where you actually need to get hit as much as possible. So the headgear will make you take less damage. And for some reason, whenever you get hit by one of his attacks, it's specifically the attack where he does my turn. If you get hit by it, the clock just moves at like an ever so slow speed. Like I think it's like 10% or something. It just it will make the clock just drag on and on and on. It's like the entirety of phase one actually. So we need the headgear to literally take as much damage as possible because if we don't have it, Mac will just get knocked down obviously.
Hmm.
And the sad part about that strategy is that obviously it's in the career mode. So once you complete the fight, it's wiped out. You can't like do it again. You have to start a new profile, lose 100 more times, and then fight all the way up to Title of Sandman just to get another shot.
Is there no way around that?
There is. I
Okay,
mean,
thank God.
I was able to construct a way around it. So basically, what I did is I actually loaded like an SD card, and I so basically the SD card actually does have like a data bin, so you could like store in like your save slots or something. So what I did is that I moved my current save out of the Wii and just put it into my computer, put in a new one in, and then I made like an entire folder so that, like all six profiles, they already have 100 losses and they already are up to Title Fence Sandman. So that was the workaround that like I was able to like do. So basically, so if you use up all six of those attempts, just swap out that data bin and then put in the new one, and then
Hmm.
you can have like another set of like attempts. But the fact that like I actually had to do that just to like save myself some time is like really tedious.
Yeah, that's weird. Can you like copy uh in files in game?
The profiles, no. So you
Of
have
course
to
not.
all six profiles. I had to lose 100 times, get up to Title Fence Sandman, get the headgear, and then boom, it's there. So
Okay.
that data bin is downloadable on speedrun.com actually. So anyone doesn't have to experience the pain that like I did, obviously.
That's just crazy.
But I feel like the fact that like it's just something that I had to do just to like save up as much time as possible.
Wow.
And that's the reason why I don't do Title Fence Sandman nearly as much. Is because one, you're limited. Two, I'm 0.01 off, which is a really like crap feeling.
And then this stupid way you have to fight
20,
him.
24, 25 inputs to tie the tasks on a 50-50. Three of those inputs have to be mandatorily frame perfect.
Yippee.
Yeah, that's just punch out way.
Well,
So
fun.
on one hand, I really do want to do it, but I know that deep down it almost may not be worth it in the end. If someone was fighting me for it, oh yeah, like I definitely would like grind for it.
I
But
see.
just the actual like process of like trying to like just get to it, it's just it's not good. And the fact that like the headgear can't be like accessible through like the normal level select is like that's annoying. I mean, I get I sort of get why you can't because it would make some of the challenges a lot easier. Like Punch Out Wii actually does have like challenges to like do, so I get why they probably didn't want to like people to like cheese like their way through it. But they could have probably like made like an option where it's like if you play with headgear, you can't get
Hmm.
this challenge unlocked or something. Like I don't know, they could have worked around something,
But they
but
didn't. Haha.
nope. So that's TD Sandman. TV Soda, I'm not sure what my goal is. I think it's just either strategy completion or maybe tying tasks. I actually did have a couple of task attempts going into like the final two inputs, but no dice yet. Still actually haven't completed the strategy.
Hmm.
And for Bald Bull, that one is just going to be random luck, like luck for me. I feel like if I ever get that one,
Hmm.
so not I'm not sure about that one.
All
And
right.
then contender% time, just maybe sub 8 or something. And then those are my goals for Punch Out.
Got it. So that's all Punch Out, I think.
Yup, that is every single little bit of Punch Out. Wanna mention, I guess, Nintendo World Championship since we brought that one up a little
Might
bit
as
earlier.
well. I was gonna now ask like non-Punch Out related things. So
Oh, no, okay. Now we can do that actually. Or I mean, I guess
well,
that
that
is
counts.
technically
Yeah, that
that
counts.
that does
We
count.
can start
So
there.
may I just say how annoying it is that Mike Tyson's Punch Out couldn't have been in that game.
Yeah. I guess it's because they do everything in real time, and let's be honest, Mike Tyson's Punch Out with real time would not be fun in that game.
It probably wouldn't have, although it probably would have made like some like task attempts like pretty interesting to do. I
It
guess. I
just make
mean,
it even more RNG heavy than it already is because of the random like stay downs and what have you.
yeah. I mean, imagine like I don't know, like trying to like earn 3 down 2 stars or something, like something ridiculous,
Yeah,
or like
like
beat Tyson round 1.
it might have been interesting, but I just know MTPO with real time it would have been made that a lot less fun. So
Yeah,
I
I
get
mean,
why they
I
left
know
it out.
that. I mean, I know that like the NES remix games does have Tyson's Punch Out
Mm.
within it, and the time is still there, like the in-game time plus the timer that like they are tracking with. So I maybe they could have done it, like find like some work around it, but I don't know. If anything, for what it's worth, it would have been 100 times better than like the balloon fight or like ice climbers, whatever
Yeah, I mean,
those two
yeah.
games, because those two games are like assy, really.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, not all the games on there were bangers, but
No, no, not
it's an
really.
interesting collection. But I mean, they do
Yeah.
have bangers on there, and it does work well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know that your Mario Bros is on there, so
I mean, all the
you
Marios are
probably
on there. W,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's fine. Uh,
it's all right. And task time some of the levels is also either pretty fun or it's like really annoying when like you're just resetting like every 2 seconds it feels like.
yeah. Um, I still want to figure out like how many task ties I want in that game because what there's like 156 challenges, I think, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It's so many.
And I think I have 27 now.
I've been keeping track, kind of. I don't know the number, but
I
there's
can
a
like
decent amount.
quickly check, see how much I
I know I
actually
have at
do have.
least 4 from this week.
Okay, so do I.
So we have the same 4 there. Beyond that, I
um,
don't remember.
let me see. So the first one that I ever did, according to my sheet right here, is veggie plucking for
Oh, of
Mario
course,
Bros.
yeah.
2. It technically would have been bottom rung for Donkey Kong, but I guess Mario figured out how to grab ladders from the side as quickly as possible, and then just let go of it.
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but it works.
I, it's like just with what we said earlier about the controller D-pad, it just wouldn't be friendly.
Yeah, you'd have to like you can a lot of the challenges you can use like both the stick and the D-pad to do some things. I know it makes like
Yeah,
the task excel you need for Mario 1 things easier in quotes. It's still not easy, but
yeah. I wish I was good at it so I can get the final level in
I'm not good
the
at it
Switch.
either. I'm stuck one frame off in Sad Town, so
Okay, but like that's better than like not being able to like do it like myself. I can't do that stuff. I don't know how like you guys are able to like do it. I mean, I see what's going on, but like how do I get my fingers to like move that fast enough to actually do this, and that within like a short period?
a lot of practice.
I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping I can somehow figure out task excel before, in the next 12 hours, but I'm not like expecting it because it hurts to do and is hard and input lag and I've never done it before and Sag anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, task tie wise, I got nothing for Mario Bros. 1, and I don't think I ever will,
Oh, you
unfortunately.
can get the what do they
The
call it?
underwater level, don't mention it.
No, that one's fine. You can do it.
No,
What?
looks horrible.
What do you mean it looks horrible?
It just looks horrible.
All you do is you hold down right coming out of the stage and this you swim the frame you hit the ground and then just win. That's all.
I
You
guess I could
do
try that one.
Punch Out Wii. This is fucking free, bro. Come on.
Okay, but like Punch Out Wii makes sense to me. Mario Bros will never make sense. I'll just
Whatever.
stop.
All right.
No, yeah, I'll just stop.
Anyway.
But yeah, the only Mario task ties that I have on Nintendo World Championships, looking at my sheet, are the first two in Mario Bros. 2, so Veggie Plugin and Door to Door.
Hmm. Yep.
Uh, the Luigi ones in the Lost Levels, except for
Hmm.
Lost Legend. The,
Yeah, that
to
one's
hell with that one.
that. No one's tied the task on that one. That one's gonna take a long time.
To hell with that one. The Metroid one, the first level.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's it. Mario. Why am I mentioning Metroid?
Hmm.
Uh, Super Mario Bros. 3. I have five of them. It's a Hammer Bro, KO, Super
Hmm.
Leaf in the Wind, Kaboom Boom,
Hmm.
Half Pipe, and
Hmm.
Loki.
Hmm. I have
Uh,
four of
yeah,
those,
that
I think.
yeah, Half Pipe took a little bit. That was pretty annoying actually.
Yeah,
Just
I
went off
hate that I
frame.
thought I got it and then it was like in the championships and it was like, oh, you can actually save a frame. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'll do
Yeah,
that real quick.
yeah, and yeah, those are the only Mario ones that I have. Just the two from Mario Bros. 2, the Luigi ones minus Lost Legend and uh the Lost Level ones, and then five in Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah, I have a sheet as well. I'll have to figure out which ones are tasks and what isn't, but
Yeah, the hardest one for me, if I'm looking at the sheet, I mean, it's really hard to like say which one is like really hard. I guess Pop 'em was pretty annoying to do,
hmm
the 356 one.
yeah,
Uh,
that one took a minute.
what else? Uh,
And
hmm.
this is just for this week.
The one that I'm trying to do right now, and I know that you have this one. It's Whale of a Time for Mario Bros.
Ah,
2.
yes, that took
I got
a while.
I got one frame off like 50 times or
Yep.
something,
Hmm.
like 54 times actually, and I I can't literally seem to cut that final like just ever so small increment. And it's like I know that I can do it because it's like Veggie Plugin just extended, but it's just really annoying that I haven't been able to like do it yet.
Well, veggie plucking both times I had to do it because it was in the World Championship again. It took me a while because the problem is you have to grab it on the first frame and also only release run for one frame and repress. So
Yeah,
you have to do that again, but
fun.
like 20 seconds later instead of like within the first second, which is what sucks.
Yep, that one is not fun whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one that I'm trying to like do right now. I think there are like a handful left that I could do, but I feel like once I get to like 30 task ties for that game, I'm gonna struggle a lot just to even get like 35 or something.
Yeah, I'll see how I'll do some more research. I know it might have even been your spreadsheet, something to keep track of what the task times even are, but I know it's not complete.
Yeah. Yeah, I specifically made that task sheet just to like keep track of like which ones are the exact times and just like figure out like which ones are actually like obtainable. And it worked for the most part, I guess. But yeah, a lot of them are just like forget about it.
Yeah, I would like, a full sheet, like all the confirmed task ties, just to know.
Yeah, but at least we got your Mario ones on there. We got Mario One and Lost Levels.
Yeah, those are all good.
Yeah, I wonder why those were figured out so quickly.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we all know.
Yeah, but
But
yeah, that game's fun. I mean,
it's fun.
and
To this day,
it's up
I'm
your
still
alley with
like,
the ILs, I guess.
yeah, to this day, I'm still like upset that most of my Donkey Kong ones got like obsoleted, just all due to like a simple like ladder glitch or something.
Hmm.
And well, first of all, shout out to prior Donkey Kong speedruns. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be nowhere near as like good enough as that game, I guess. But bottom run got like obsoleted, which I'm sad about. Barrel roll, of course, got obsoleted. That one I'm actually like really upset about that. It got obsoleted by a glitch of all things.
Hmm.
Like an unpatched glitch. I mean, come on, Nintendo. You didn't patch out that one, but you patched out the one where like you climb down. Come on.
Unfortunate.
It really is because I really was proud to get a 1930, which was the task for that one, and just to see like the only first place to have like a 1568, I think, like a 6x range time. I was like, how did that happen? What even happened? And then I see the run. I just see Mario climbing up like an
Nothing.
invisible ladder, and I'm like, oh. So I did all that for that to just not be record.
Yep, that's how it
And
goes.
and I yeah, to this I mean I think like just as of right now, I think I only have like two records for that game. It's Lost and Found, which is 1176, which was tasked, but it was confirmed not to be. And then Jumping Jacks, which that's the only one that I've actually like put in a lot of effort just to make sure that that one is like hard to beat,
Hmm.
which is the time of 1156, and the only way to beat that level is to actually beat the spring at the very top of the second stage.
Hmm.
You have to just go as fast as possible, beat the spring, then just climb up the ladder.
Yeah, I had something where I thought it was a task tie, but it ended up not being. So it's like, well,
Yeah, turns
time to
out
save
beating
that
that
frame. Ha
spring
ha ha.
turns out beating that spring was actually doable. I didn't think it was at first, but apparently if you lose more than 6 frames, then you can't beat the spring, and you can't get a time under I think it was 1175. I think for jumping jacks,
Mm.
it was somewhere like around that. Now the task is 0.45 if you were able to beat it.
Hmm.
I have a 5.6 though, so I'm gonna take that.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I'll definitely keep looking at what the task ties are. Hopefully, we can get a completed list so we know exactly how
one day
feasible
we
they are.
will. Yeah, one day we will. I'm just not exactly sure like when it actually will be completed. It definitely like I feel like we need to get like one member from like each community, just like who knows how to like task it, just to actually have it like completed as fast as possible.
Yeah, I don't want another like Mushazoom moment from the Mario 3 challenge where
I
we knew what the task tie was and everyone got it, and then it was like, actually, you could go a frame faster. It's like, oh, well, fuck.
Yeah, I heard about that one, and that was really funny. Actually, what is the task for that one?
Whatever a frame faster
Much to
than my
zoom,
PB is, I forget.
because I don't see that one on there actually.
Mm-hmm.
Mushizoom. Oh wait, is it 3?
Yeah, it was Mario
I must know.
3.
Oh, Mario Bros. 3. So
Yes.
Mushizoom 2, Super Mario
Yeah,
Bros. 3.
sorry.
Okay, so yeah, that one isn't written down yet. So maybe I'll like add it once the podcast is like over.
Yeah. And then yeah, I know there's like some times that people got on the leaderboard that aren't on SRC. So like
Yeah,
I have the tied record in one of the Mario 1 ones, but it was one of the challenges and someone apparently one person got 1 frame faster, but it's not on the boards.
yeah, that game is like very competitive. It was probably like the first like speed running like game that like wasn't Punch Out related that like I stepped myself into. That was like, wow, there's actually like a lot of people running this game. It's not like, you know, the very small numbers that we have in my like community. It was like, wow, okay, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
competition, so
It gets heated,
only
that's
one
for
can
sure.
stand out. Yeah, it will definitely like get heated.
And then yeah, I've been sticking to more of the longer categories like the legendary trial, of course, and then
Yeah, Legendary Trial looks pretty fun, but I
it's
probably
fun.
wouldn't be able to do that. Probably not not because of the individual level versus full game thing, but because Mario Bros. One,
Mm.
which I don't think I ever will be good at that game. Really, I don't know
Not with that
how.
attitude.
Well, okay, maybe, but I can't even like I could barely do some of the levels without dying. So props to you guys really for being able to like get under 5 minutes, which still blows me
Just get
away.
fire, you know?
I
That's
can't. I don't
okay.
have fast enough fingers.
All right. Not yet you don't. We can fix you, but
Not yet. I mean, I've only been in the speedrunning scene for like 4 years now. Maybe sometime will
Mhm.
change, I guess. Maybe I'll learn
But
how
yeah.
to get better at video games instead of just the punch out games in particular, which are like the only set of games that I'm like really good at. Donkey Kong, I'm like okay yet. I mean, I have like a 105 on the leaderboard, a very low 105. It's unfortunately not a 104. It would have been a 104 if it wasn't for the bad barrel RNG in phase one.
Mhm. I I have a 104.
I know you do. You mentioned it at a GDQ once. It was a big flex for me. I was
Ha ha
jealous.
ha. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember specifically because I beat Andrew G and he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that run was kind of a fluke too because like I had a 109 and then I got like it was like a 107 and then 2 runs later was that 104.
For me, it was 107, 106, and then another 106, and then two 105s, and then
Mhm.
the second 105 is the one that like I've uploaded to Speedrunner.com. I do want to try that game out at some point. It's like the only game outside of Punch Out that I'm actually like okay at, I guess.
Yeah, you've shown like competent skill with the NWC,
Yeah,
like better
just
than most. So
yeah, I can't do the ladder glitch where like Mario like grabs onto it and then just lets go of it
yeah,
immediately.
no,
I know that like it is technically easier on Switch than it is like let's say
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
because you actually have like a second like set of like moving buttons to like move Mario. So I guess I technically do have a big advantage if I really do like want to try it, but like one awkward hand placement, that's not my favorite cup of tea. I already had to have really awkward placement when grinding out Zelda 2 Fairy Finder,
Oh
the
yeah,
0.51. That was already like weird enough for me to do.
I'm sad I missed those. That was I finally missed a week of challenges because I was gone at TwitchCon and it was the one with Fairy Finder. I like booted up yesterday and within 2 minutes I got it and I was like, oh yeah, that would have been nice to quickly get.
For me, I struggled with that one. And then, I mean, granted, that was
It's two
before I
frame
was
perfect
doing.
inputs,
Yeah, and
so it's not too bad.
for some reason, I was just bad at it.
I
And
mean, yeah.
eventually, when I did the double like whenever pretend this is like a Switch thing, like the double left, like double hands, like having on both of the moving inputs. I eventually got it within like less than 10 minutes.
Mhm. Yeah, that's definitely the way. But
Yeah,
yeah, fun game. Uh,
It's a very fun game, yeah. It's just a shame that like I don't think people are gonna remember that game nearly as well, like
I I have a
down the
theory
road.
that it's going to be a series because they called it NES edition. So, SNES edition, blah 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 blah. So,
They better put Super Punch Out in the SNES edition. I will
you
literally
know they
wipe the
won't.
floor.
You know they won't.
I know they won't, but I want them to. I will literally wipe the floor with that game if they actually do it.
um I that game might fare better for RTA though, actually.
It could.
I don't know.
I mean, the timer that's like on there, it is kind of similar. It's like to like the RTA timer, kind of.
Hmm,
It does alternate every 0.2 and 0.1,
yeah.
so they could maybe work around it. They already have a slight advantage, but you know, I just dropped that. Nintendo was Nintendo, so
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if this even becomes a series.
I do like that theory though. If anything, like I actually now want it to like be true.
Yeah, like Super Nintendo, like Mario World challenges, Super Metroid
Yeah,
challenges,
like why not? Like I'm looking at
Link to the
my
Past
wall.
challenges, Nintendo 64 edition, Mario 64 challenges. Like,
There you go.
we got
Like these
something
games,
here.
let these games shine for crying out loud.
NES edition 2 with like some non-garbage too. Maybe some like
Yeah,
non-Nintendo like published games too, or developed,
yeah, if
sorry.
let's like not have balloon fight or like ice climbers, which
Yeah,
those two
like
games are
just
like
black
just
bot games. Let's get some Mega Mans. Capcom would be on board. Get some Castlevanias.
possibly
Konami would be on board. I don't know.
get DuckTales in there. Seriously,
DuckTale. Well, would Disney be on
mm,
board?
no, they can make a classic handshake deal.
Yeah, there's so much more they could do. We'll see. But yeah, game is cool.
It is, yeah, like it really is like a lot of fun.
Mhm.
It's just wish a lot of them were bangers as opposed to
Yeah,
some of the bit of hit or
there's
miss
some
ones.
bangers, but there's ice climbers, so the game kind of sucks. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right. I guess that covers NWC. But is there anything
Yeah.
else you've like done in speedrunning? Like any other games?
I know that like I've like just tackled like a lot of like just weird miscellaneous games. Like I know that I speedrun like a handful. Well, speedrun is used very loosely here.
Hmm.
Of Mario Galaxy 2. Like I've done like a couple
Oh,
levels
really?
for like fun. Yeah, and by like a couple, I mean like just 5 total. Really, this was
Fair.
like in late 2021, I think. Um, I guess there is one more story that like I actually do have, and that's actually like I guess my first like live like live the event run. It was called the Superstars Marathon
Mhm.
2024. There was some runner by the name of, I think his name was Feasel. I think he does
Oh
like
yeah,
GDQ stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I know him.
so he came into like our server, said, "Hey, would you want Super Punch Out to be one of their games?" And I was like, "You know what? Yeah, sure, why not? I think I'll do it. I have a top 10 time now, so I think I might as well show off what I'm capable of doing." And that run that I did had a lot of hit or miss moments. I had like a really bad luck session on Bob, kind of messed up Chan a little bit, and Narcissus was kind of mean during
Hmm.
phase 3, but
Shocking.
the one thing that I wanted to show off was just me succeeding in Nick, and I got the Nick fight that I wanted, and it led to a very big pop off. Actually, I still have it clipped, and it might actually be uploaded on YouTube probably. But that was probably like my first like live event that like I did. Like I never done like showing off our run in front of like an audience like type of thing. I know that you're probably like obviously used to it by now with like GDQ and stuff, but for me it was a first.
Yeah, I mean the first
Yeah.
one's always hard, right?
Oh
Because
yeah, I was scared out of my mind honestly. Like I had no idea what was gonna happen, what was gonna go wrong or something. But it actually ended up being like a really fun time. The run actually was decent. And actually just to put it into perspective, the run that I had was actually only 4 seconds real time by the way behind one of Zallard's runs on GDQ. So I I'll gla- I'll gladly take that actually.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, and that was sort of the around the time where like I kind of got back into Super Punch Out. That was when I was running full game runs a little bit more.
Hmm.
Like I said, eventually I do want to make my return to it because I know that somebody wants to beat me, someone
Hmm.
wants to get a 235 or better, and if somebody actually does beat me, I'll be top 11 instead of top 10.
Can't have that. So.
No, I can't have that. I definitely can't have that. But I'm not doing it now because what I've been mostly doing, I've just been kind of like relaxing recently for the most part. Like I've been playing like a lot of games casually actually. Like I was able to just relax. I beat Castlevania 1, 2, and 3 casually just recently. What else is there? Kirby Dream Land 3, I did that recently. Sonic 2 as well. But yeah, it's just been kind of low key. Haven't really been like going stuff like at it like super aggressively. Outside of I guess Nintendo World Championships, obviously.
Hmm.
But when I
That.
say I'm not going at it aggressively, what I'm also saying is I was I went back to Super Punch Out, and I also did some fights with this thing that you
Oh,
see right
okay,
here,
great.
which those were fun actually.
Hmm.
Which I didn't know how well that would turn out, but doing that game with the Guitar Hero was actually pretty fun. I was able to tie the attacks on some fights with it, which
Hmm.
that was hard actually. Like some of it actually like really is like stupid actually.
I mean, just silly challenge runs like that are always fun.
Yeah, I've seen I can't remember the name of this runner, but like there was one that like beat Mario Bros with the drums or something. Like that was
Oh,
pretty fun
CCR, yeah,
to watch. Yeah, okay.
probably.
And that was the inspiration like behind it. Like I thought I want to try to like do some levels where I could beat the game using that. And as of now I have 7 out of 16 for Super Punch Out.
Hmm.
But guard nipping for that is like the worst thing ever.
Mm.
It might actually be like the hardest thing for Super Punch Out. It's just guard nipping with this stupid joystick.
Well, you brought it on yourself, so.
Yeah, I did. I just wish there was like a D-pad or something.
Hmm. Um.
Yeah, because joystick for Super Punch Out, it can either make things a little bit easier or like a little bit harder. Like it actually does make double or triple quick dodging or ducking a lot easier compared to like D-pad, which is like mash mash mash.
Hmm.
But for this, no, it just made it a lot harder.
So the marathon you just talked about is was that your first and only speedrun marathon?
That's currently, yeah.
Okay.
I really have thought about wanting to like do something with GDQ actually. Instead of just showing up as like an audience member, I
Hmm.
want to maybe see if I could do a run. The problem is that I'm just not sure like what it would be. If it was a GDQ, it probably would be I think SGDQ 2025, but I'm not sure what I would do. I kind of want to do Super Punch Out with that, but I know that GDQ doesn't like the emulators, so I kind of have to
Oh
just
yeah,
wipe
yeah.
that idea out. Unless if like we can mod it somehow so that it like will work. But that's all I.
I think Peanut Butter's run of the baseball that was done on emulator. I'm pretty sure because I think
Oh,
like the
was it?
capture screwed up and they showed an emulator.
Huh. I
So
thought for some reason GDQ didn't like allow emulators
I
actually.
think like they don't even like EverDrives. Like they'll tell you you can use an EverDrive, just don't show the menu. And
Oh
I think it's
yeah,
because first of all, some people on the internet just get angry for some reason over the dumbest shit, and then like
yeah,
they don't want potential legal issues, like obviously.
yeah. Like
So
I know that, like I know that the word ROM, for instance, is
mhm.
banned at like GDQ.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I do understand the safety precaution behind it, but I suppose if there was a way to like hide it,
But yeah, how else are
Maybe.
people playing like ROM hacks, right? Like you got to use the EverDrives for
Exactly.
that and whatever. So
Exactly. Yeah, people can get like way too pissy at that,
yeah,
really.
as long as they can hide it, you could probably figure out a way to do that. So
Perhaps.
and
But
maybe there is a way to hook it up to the console itself too. Who knows?
well, Zalad actually was mentioning that like there might be a way, and it almost seemed like he was actually going to do it. But I told him that like this is just like a wishful thinking type of thing. Like I'm not sure if I really want to do it. But as time goes on, I think I might want to try something for GDQ. I've gotten this far in my speedrunning life. 4 years really slipped by fast.
How do you think I feel?
Really, really fast, actually. Yeah,
But
but
yep, plenty of
yeah,
GDQs, plenty of ideas. So
yeah, I just gotta hope that like nothing catastrophic happens. Actually,
was
like capture card,
oh yeah,
like what you mentioned earlier.
was this was HDQ this year like your first live event you've gone to?
That was actually yeah. I even had the badge hung up actually, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't take it down. It's like tied
That's fine.
up.
But yeah, how was that?
Yeah. That was a lot of fun actually. I went in there just intending on meeting like two other runners that like I knew. Completely forgot by the way that you were even gonna be there. I don't know what it was. Like for some reason I saw your name on like the runs list, and for some reason last minute when I actually got there, it just slipped my mind. So when I was just trying to get Mike Tyson's Punch Out to work at one of those TVs, I hear you say something. I look over to my left. I read that tag. I'm like, the fuck? It's him.
Jump scare.
Yeah, because like
I
one, I
see
already
Punch Out. I'm
completely
gonna
forgot.
look at it. I mean,
Yeah,
that's how I roll. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of people that go to the events. I mean,
yeah, and I do plan to make a return to a GDQ at some point. It might have to be the one in the summertime for
mhm.
2025.
Minneapolis is a good location. So
Yeah, yeah, it's an all right location. Just make sure your stuff doesn't get stolen, and then you're fine.
yeah, I mean, I've never had an issue with Minneapolis. So
Yeah, crime stuff is a little
mm,
there, but as long as you're safe about it, it should be all right.
it's probably like the same as any city it could be in for the most part.
Yeah,
So
realistically, like as long as you don't go into like a dark corner or something by like
yeah,
an
no,
alleyway, you'll be all right.
I've seen
Just
worse.
just be
Don't worry.
smart. Just be smart about it.
Yeah, no, SGQ location's pretty good. Uh,
Yeah.
Minneapolis is fun to walk around. It feels pretty nice there, especially like being there in the summer where it's like usually
Oh
a
yeah.
cold area, so it just feels pretty normal. It's a good place.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
that's my SGDQ positivity, I guess.
How many have you went to actually?
GDQ specific.
Just yeah, GDQ's like
Three,
specific.
7,
That's a lot.
and that
Oh,
doesn't include GDQ at PAX and GDQX that I just went
all
to.
right. So you probably have like a collection of like
Oh, I
badges
have like
somewhere.
14 badges now or
Oh,
something.
yeah, 14. Oh jeez. Okay.
Yeah, let's see. SGQ 2018, HDQ 2019, HDQ 2020, SGQ 2022, SGQ 2023, HDQ 2024, SGQ 2024. We got PAX just like a month ago. I just got back from GDQX at TwitchCon. Um, Pace 2022, Pace Summer 2023, Pace Fall 2023, Pace Summer 2024. Okay, so 13 I think is everything.
Okay. And this is the only one that I
There
went
you
to.
go.
I know that like I said I was lazy to like take it down, but I got like just unlazy.
Yeah, I go to too many events. But I can't help it. I'm addicted. They're too fun.
They are really fun, and
It's the only
it
place I
comes to
can meet
like
all my or see all my friends. So,
yeah, it's like you meet all like your online friends, and it's like the only place where like you really like realistically could meet them
mhm.
up at.
But yeah, I'm going to HDQ. Got good submissions for that. Paces in like a month.
All
I got to
right.
run in. So
What do you
by
think
the
you'll do? Lost levels?
Yeah, it's 2J all stages.
All
But
right,
yeah, at the end of this year I'll have 14 badges, and then by the very start of next year I'll have 15, and then
there you
keep
go.
going. Help God, I need a job to afford all this. I've been having trouble with the job finding department, but oh my god. That's the only problem with events is just money. If I had
YouTube,
unlimited money, I'd go to unlimited events. That's what I say.
YouTube, gotta start making the revenue on it.
So people have said.
Yeah, I
Oh,
tried. All right, I mean,
yeah,
like I tried making
actually that's
Punch
something
Out
I meant to
content.
talk about. Like I know you've had like at least some YouTube success.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, like I have actually made some Punch Out Wii videos, like in the past, specifically the ones that require the least amount of punches, which was inspired by Pap's Mike Tyson's Punch Out. In case that like wasn't obvious by
Hmm.
now. But yeah, those videos did pretty well. The two instant knockdown videos that like show off like every single one, those also did pretty well. Sitting, I think those are the only two videos that are like over 200K views.
Holy shit.
Might
My most
actually
viewed
be
video is
more.
14,000, so
I could look right now, but I'm once
uh,
again lazy. I could just
yeah.
get let's just unlazy, but um, there was actually one other story that like I wanted to mention. It might come back to me later. It was something about like capture card something.
Mm.
It'll come back.
But yeah, do you have like has YouTube content been like a thought?
It has, like, it actually genuinely has. Like I've messed around with like full videos and shorts, like because
Hmm.
shorts obviously like get views well, just not as much revenue. And
Yeah.
then content, I have made obviously a couple of punch out videos, and they do all right, I guess. I just hope that one day I can find something that will just click, and
Hmm.
then I can just work off of it, and eventually I can, you know, have that maybe be like a part-time job while like I'm also working on something else
Yeah,
within the
that's the
background.
dream, right?
It was for that reason why I did turn on super chats, because I actually didn't have super chats turned on before, because like I don't know why, like for some reason it just didn't feel right for me to like just take someone's money without
Yeah.
like I guess like just earning it. So I left it off for like a very long time, but I just turned it back on anyway because like I guess the person knows what they're doing at the end of the day.
Yeah. I have Supers on, no one's ever used it, and then, I've never gotten enough watch hours to get like the ad revenue or whatever, so
Don't worry, nobody uses my super chats as well, so
okay.
you're not alone. Okay,
Well, I just
what?
meant like, yeah, there's no reason not to have it on, I guess. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Worst
like
is no
yeah,
one's gonna use it, so it's fine.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
But yeah,
I've
for a
definitely
very
thought
long
about it
time.
myself, but it's hard to get into, that's for sure.
Yeah, but like for the most part, my whole channel has just literally been like just the individual level speedruns, and then like just a random video here and there. Like I haven't really like stuck to something consistent, if
Hmm.
in case that wasn't obvious. Because I still have, well, actually I did graduate college, but I'll be going into a new one soon.
Mm.
So I'm probably gonna have a little bit less time to actually be able to like do stuff. But a lot of the random videos that I do have on YouTube, I probably should actually like unlist them or private them at some point. Specifically, and this is a good segment to the capture card issue that like I had. So there was one fight in particular where I just kept on having like so many videos of just having like one frame off on like that particular fight, and I uploaded every single one. And this fight is Title Defense Super Macho Man, no randomness, but has 29 frame perfect inputs to tie the tasks on,
Mm.
which is like I yeah, that that a look right there just said it all. But it took me a lot, and it took a decent amount of grinding. It took over like 4 months, I think, of like every day, maybe like once or like 5 times a week or something like that. I would just be doing that fight every single time. I finally got it, and then I realized my capture card was fucked.
Oh, in what
So,
way?
it basically like just glitched out. There's like small little parts of that video where it's just like not watchable. It's like it just crapped
Huh.
out, and the last like 70% of the video is technically watchable, but the beginning of it just makes it unverifiable. And I was pissed, all right, because I've never had that
Yeah.
happen before, and it was a sign for me to say that I had to get like a new computer because I couldn't record in 30 FPS anymore.
Hmm.
If I tried 60, my computer would just explode.
Hmm.
But I was pissed that I basically don't have, well, I mean it's not like I didn't have proof, like, like the community still like believed me, obviously,
Hmm.
because like there was a way to like show that like it was done, um like just photo wise, by the way, not like replay mode or something. But the fact that it had to happen on that specific attempt, I was a very salty person that day, all right, to say the least. I mean, imagine like just trying to tie like a 29 frame perfect fight. You got 1 frame off 9 times. You finally landed that task attempt, and it's like, well, so I didn't know what to do. I was mad, and a couple of days later, it like just kept making me like just more angry, and I was just getting like more infuriated by it. And what do? I did it again.
Oh, how quickly?
It took 3 months.
Oh, okay. Well.
Compared to 4 months, it wasn't that bad. But the fact that like uh some runners were shocked that like I was doing it again. They were like, "Dude, you already technically got it. Like you have no reason to like do it again, really." Which, I
We
mean,
need
like,
to verifiably get it. It's important.
yes, we need to verifiably get it. I mean, this was back in the day when I was trying to get 27 out of 27 task ties, and the fact that like I just had like an unwatchable video of it was mad. Granted, I know I could submit it to Cyberscore, which I did actually do, but it was still like a very like just bad feeling at the end
Hmm.
of the day. So I did eventually get it again.
Oops.
Capture card worked perfectly, and now I kind of look back on that like, why did I do that? Because like all that just for what? Just, just to say that like I did it again. I did something hard again. It's like, yeah, you showed your determination, but you also just showed how much of like a dumbass you kind of are for just wanting to like put yourself in that situation again when you literally had every reason not to.
I just did the funniest thing. I was trying to move my mouse and I accidentally, by pure magical chance, just clicked the play ads button.
No wonder why I'm seeing an ad playing on Twitch right now.
Isn't that hilarious? I've never done that before. That's really funny. Like all the other
Well,
ones are like scheduled, but I just can't believe I
well,
accidentally did that. That's just
well. We
fun.
got 2 minutes of like ad time
You're
to watch
welcome,
that. Right?
everyone. My bad. Me and
Yeah,
my
even though
Butterfingers.
you probably can't even hear us right now
Oh well. That's what the
until
YouTube video is for. But
exactly there you go.
also, whoops. I just had
Yup.
to point that out because it was stupid, and I must point out all my failures. Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything else to talk about?
That was pretty much my final story. It just like I didn't really know like how else to just I guess let's integrate it into the story sense. I probably should have mentioned it like
I
way at the
mean,
beginning when I was talking about title
it's
hunts
fine, yeah.
fights. But yeah, it's
As
fine.
long as you've covered everything that's important, right?
Yeah, we got 2 hours and 40 minutes of footage. But
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
yeah, I mean, Punch Out is my favorite speedrun game. I like Donkey Kong Year and Air. Nintendo World Championships is a lot of fun. I met another great set of runners there. Thanks to that, shoutouts to Crossover and some other runners like Wolf. Actually, I mean, I know
Mhm.
that Wolf is like a Mario Bros. Speedrunner, but you know, still counts.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Well, GG's. I guess we
yeah,
did it.
yeah. GG, we did it.
Well,
Should I like just wave goodbye to stream or
now
something?
you can, self promote. That's what you should do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Actually, screw Twitter. You don't really want to go there. It's a bad place.
Fair.
uh, I guess Discord as well. I do have my own server. I'll plug that. I'll use it like every once in a while. Uh, yeah,
I will have the
that's pretty
links
much all I got.
available. They are on
All
stream
right.
and in the description. Woo.
Woo, 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 woo.
Woo.
Yay.
All right. So, I guess that's
All right.
everything then.
Yeah, that's all the stories that like I have. I don't really have anything else. I actually did write down everything on like a piece of paper,
And
which I will just admit
oh,
that
goddamn.
in case I
Look at
actually
that.
like had something else in mind, and I basically covered everything on here.
The preparation. Damn.
Gotta
Well,
say, yeah, I'm a very preparation person.
absolute professional. Well, anyway, I guess we are done here. So, thank you for
All right,
watching. Keep watching. I appreciate it. I don't know.
all right.
Follow the stuff.
10 out of 10 outro. There you go.
Yada yada. Yeah, I'm so good at ending and beginning these things. I'm truly a genius, but
Bye bye.
yep. All right. Goodbye, gamers. See you next
Take care,
time.
everyone.